what we do here is go back.
Hello there, everybody. How the devil are we all? I am fucking sensationally well, I thank you for asking, except that the light has moved again, you twat. Anyway, how are you? I hope you're well. My hair is still absolutely glorious. I mean, look at it. Luscious. Fuck me sideways. Now, welcome one and all to today's proceedings. We're going to be taking a look at some stuff. Come towards the light, Kev. What? No, I won't do that. I will do anything for love, but I won't do that, okay? Fact. Save me from the hell of this intro music. I keep meaning to get better intro music, and then I forget because I was too busy fucking your mum. And your dad, to be fair. And they both loved it. It was a lovely time. We went out for a meal. We had a few drinks as well. Honestly, it was one of the most eye-opening and life-changing sexual experiences of my life, and I want to thank you all for that. It was beautiful. You couldn't handle my mum. She could handle me. What the fuck are we talking about? Anyway, everybody. No, I keep meaning to, and then I forget, because you know what? I'm not very good at this. I'm not very good at this, okay? I am, at best, mid when it comes to streamers. Mid as fuck. And I'll be honest with you, that might be generous. I don't know. Anyway. If you enjoy my content, and why would you not enjoy my content? I've already verbally accosted one of my viewers for no fucking reason whatsoever. Really, I'm loving it. Loving it. But soon I got to see Weezer and Smashing Pumpkins through work. Oh, for fuck's sake, as friends Rust. Do you want to, like, make your job seem even cooler? You're a multiple fucking Premier League winner, Champions League winner, you get to just fucking hang out with fucking England internationals, and now you get to go and see good bands play for free. You're a fucking disgrace. I want to be you. Now, yes, Mid as fuck is my ska band name. Nice. We have shares in the co-op arena. Well, there you go. Everybody, you can hit the follow button. You can subscribe. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can gift subs to the community. You can... Am I going to ignore your Three Stooges joke? Like, it's 2024. Where are Mo, Larry and Kev? It's 2024. As if you're gonna pull me up for not getting your fucking Three Stooges joke. It's not 1924. Three Stooges joke. Come on now. We're better than this. Either get with Chaplin or get fucked. Now, you can hit the follow button, you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, you can gift subs to the community, you can do biz messages, 200 bitty bits or more, we'll get you a text to speech. You can do super chats via the Streamlabs link below. You can help me out on Patreon and or PayPal. You can go over to the Discord and check me out there. You can hit me up at Facebook, not Twitter, because Elon Musk murdered my opinion. He killed the freedoms of the peaches. Alright, can I get some RIPs for freedom of speech, please? It is dead. So dead, I might need to finger it. Partner Push 2024. Anyway, you can go over to, like I say, Facebook, Blue Sky, which is where I'm generally at. If you want to contact me on the social medias, I'm over at Blue Sky now. And they have DMs, so you can do that. That's the one thing I do miss about Twitter, actually. Is the random people would like, every single day I'd get 3 or 4 DMs from people with random shit. Like, sometimes it was good stuff that could be used on stream. Sometimes it was just mental shit. Like live leak links to, like, oh, here's the fucking beheading thing from the thing. Like, a journalist got beheaded by ISIS. Here's the video link. Why are you sending that to me?
Stop it.
Literally, Michael. Very well timed. Yeah. So so that used to happen, and it was like I had eyes and ears everywhere. I had agents in the field looking at shit that I didn't see. Which I now don't have on Blue Sky, because I've got no one following me. Not no one, but like by comparison, relatively few. So if you want to go over and make that a thing, you can do so. I remember the guy that asked you to fuck Polish guys. That was before you came out as... Yeah, the Polish guy. He was... Oh, actually, he wasn't Polish. He was Canadian. And he used to contact me every few months with, like, you should have sex with Polish men. They're very exotic. What? He was obsessed. Anyway, I had to block him in the end because he got mental. But it went on for years. It was fucking hilarious. Well, Orion, I've literally just considered that. I've just mentioned it, but yes. Anyway, if you're on YouTube, by the way, you can't give me money on YouTube at the moment, because again, YouTube are being pricks. They've decided that I might be someone I'm not, so I've had to re-verify my account by sending them visual photos of both my passport and my driver's license to prove that I'm still the human being I said I was. I'm glad that they think I'm capable of such change. but I assure you I am not. As anyone who is a regular viewer of mine will know, personal growth is not a thing I'm capable of, really. You know. But either way, so yeah, that's, you can't give me money there. But if you go over to twitch.tv/KFLogan1875, you can give me money there. Or, as previously stated, there is a Patreon and or PayPal. Yeah, that's why membership is paused. But they said it should take no longer than 4 to 5 working days. But that's YouTube saying that, so it might take fucking weeks. Who knows? Anyway. Penis growth on the other end. Well, exactly, penis growth. I'm a grower, not a shower. Although if terms of service didn't exist, I would show my penis on stream. Just because penises look very funny. They are very, very silly things. And I just accidentally started playing the first video we're going to watch. Amazing. Hello there, by Pagan Man. How are we all? No talking about penis, I'm horny. Penis, penis, penis. But everyone type penis in chat, because current Katie is horny. So let's make this a sausage party for her. Penis, 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 penis. I'm pregating my own chat. It's weird. It's very weird. Oh, anyway. Penis. Right. Bepis indeed. Right. See, there you go. Boom. I knew my chat would follow through. Not like that. That'd be weird. Although you might be into that as well. I don't know. You could be a scat person. I have no idea. Thank you, Rohak, for gifting a sub to the aforementioned horny current Katie. Much love. Thank you, Maranaka, for resubscribing with Prime. 14 months. Much fucking love to you. Yes, so. We've been talking a lot recently about the British election. And I wanted to sort of take us away from that slightly tonight, okay? Do something a little bit different in terms of the topics that we discuss, right? But I didn't want to leave you kind of jonesing for British content, okay? Now, we've talked a lot about various races in the UK. Not races as in like racial groups. I mean like parliamentary races, electoral races. But there's only one race really in Britain that actually matters. And that happened over the last week. It's the Gloucestershire cheese rolling race. Do you want to watch some idiots injure themselves for our amusement? Let's go. Oh, ragdoll! Absolute ragdoll action!
Are you tempted to go down?
50-50.
Okay, that's just going to make Katie more horny. Are you tempted to go down? What kind of a question is this?
I don't want to break my bones.
And do you like cheese?
No, actually not. I don't like cheese that much.
Have you come from Ontario just for this?
Pretty much, yeah.
Are you a big fan of cheese, or what other reason?
No, that just seemed like a good idea at the time, so.
And how have you trained for this event, or have you trained?
You can't. I had no idea what the hill was
It's a ridiculously steep ass hill. I don't know why people are doing this.
like until I got here yesterday, and then have spent several hours thinking about whether I really want to do this, but I'm here and I got the jersey made, so I figure what the hell, might as well do it. But I don't see how you do train it. As somebody said, just start running and let the hill do the rest. Rolling, sliding, and just seeing where it takes me.
Will you just give me your name and
Well, downhill, literally.
where you're from again, please?
Leo Kinahan in Ontario, Canada.
What's your tactic today? Do you have any?
Have fun. Just hopefully tuck and roll. But other than that, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a celebrity guest as well who turns up and does the thing. Mental.
Just try to use my long legs, get down the hill as quick as possible.
Do you like cheese?
Yes, I really do.
Are you anxious? Are you worried?
The closer the race comes, the more I get worried.
Are there any fucking English people doing this? Look, this is Gloucestershire. They haven't seen this many foreign people since the Second World War.
Where do you
most of
come
those were downed pilots.
from?
I'm from Germany, from Berlin.
Why do you do
Yeah, that's it.
cheese rolling?
Why? Because it is a fantastic festival all over the world, so I came here. I'm Japanese festival man.
Joshua, have you done any training for
I
this?
am Japanese festival man. Fuck yes! Welcome aboard, Japanese festival man. We fucking love you. We unironically stand that man.
Because I think you need some training.
Not at all. I have painkillers with me. That's my training.
Do you have any tactics? How are you going to do it?
I mean, not die.
Oh, fuck you, Adbreak.
By 2050,
I don't know that not dying is actually a stratagem. That's an outcome, friend.
Here we go!
Absolute dickheads. Absolute dickheads. What are you doing? Oh, ragdoll! Oh! Oh! Twats! Absolute twats. And then at the end, if you're still on your feet, these guys down the bottom absolutely shit mix you with a rugby tackle as well. Cheese! It is, to be fair, it is definitely cheese.
So, my knee got hurt a little bit, but adrenaline is still kicking, so I don't feel no pain at the moment.
Tom, big question. Do you like cheese?
Yeah, of course I like cheese, but I promised my grandma that I'm gonna get it to her, so she's gonna get the cheese.
Hey, how was it for you?
ISO! I'm still fucking ISO Speed turned up and did it. Fucking ISO Speed. The stupid fucking FIFA streamer. Oh. Hang on, I need to show you that. Hang on. I watched his video on this, and this is so American. It's the right attitude, but it's like American. ISO Speed cheese, I guess. I don't know. Here we go.
Basically, they're
right. So when he's walking to the top of the ramp, hang on a minute. Where is it? He starts just high-fiving people. Going, cheese, motherfucker!
For good luck. God damn it! High five for good luck. God damn it! It's the cheese. Then he got the stone on it. Give me that cheese, baby. Oh yeah! Woo! I'm excited, bro. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm in the middle of the UK. Oh, this is what life is about. He's taking a piss.
I'm about to do the same.
I want to look at the.
What the fuck? High-fiving people and going, yeah, let's get the fucking cheese. It's so American. It's like the most American thing you can ever do. Trust Kev to know who the FIFA streamers are. Of course I fucking know who they are. I watch that shit. There's a regular channel, and I actually fucking hell, can I even remember what it's called? I can't even remember what it's called now. Anyway, but it's on my feed thing, and they have like groups of them, and they go head to head, right? So it's 1-on-1, and it's 24 hours a day. You can watch people play FIFA against one another 24 hours a day. And I don't sleep at normal times, so often it'll be 3 in the morning, I'm eating food, watching people play FIFA. And you know what? I can't help but feel I'm living the dream. That's what young Kev would have wanted for me. The cheese would not be worth it. Hello, PZ Myers. Everyone go and follow PZ Myers, who is fucking awesome. He is the big cheese. Because we're watching a thing about cheese.
Fractured leg, but hey, we're still living. Yep. We're still living though.
What was your technique?
Yeah, he fractured his leg and ended up in hospital. ISO Speed literally had to go to hospital.
On the way down.
Slide, but when I was like, I wanted to get up and run, but I couldn't because I was too slippery, so I just had to keep sliding. But I want to do it again because I know how to win now. I went like 4th place my first time with no technique, with no videos, but yeah, I did it though.
You can have another go.
Yeah.
We'll see you next year.
Oh yeah, and everyone go and follow PZ Myers on the various platforms. Look at this guy, he's literally taking off. Oh, white shirt! Hang on, we've got to go back. Watch white shirt in the middle. In a second, right? Middle of the pack. He's going to need some extreme dental surgery. 1 second. Look at this. Kaboom! Faceplant! And ragdoll. Oh, he is fucked. Oh, he's absolutely ruined. Oh. Dickheads. Absolute dickheads.
I'm slightly surprised, but I said I was going to win it, so managed to do it. I wasn't quite sure that if I had or not. I knew there were a lot of people coming in pretty fast, so yeah, I put in the effort when I could. I think there has to be a bit of self-confidence, plus not worrying too much.
Tell me about your ride down.
It was wild. It goes very quickly, but you're really in the moment. So at the same time,
Fucking
it does
Australians,
feel
who let
you
him
feel
in?
everything. So yeah, my first.
Oh yes, slow-mo guys. Let's fucking go. Slow motion.
There he goes.
Oh yes, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, yellow shirt's gonna face plant. He's got to. Oh no, he's righted himself. Oh, there you go, white shirt, face plant. Fuck off. He's lost a shoe as well. Dickheads. Look at him, he's literally upside down. Honest to God. Oh, here we go, face plant. Oh no, he's just broken his leg. Sliding on his fucking head. This is like human monster trucks or some shit. Like, oh, you've got no neck anymore. Oh, honest to God. Oh, they just let him through. You're supposed to stop him.
I feel like not bad when it came to injuries this year. I think it's the soft ground helped everyone, you know.
Okay, if you insist.
Just probably 25 meters I had my feet, then they disappeared and I was rolling. At some point I managed to kick my knee onto something and yeah, apparently I came in first, which was a bit of a shame.
Did you have tactics and did they work out?
It was go for it.
Oh, there's
and relax.
no way I would ever
that
do
was pretty
this.
much
This
it.
is
And
fucking
yeah,
mental.
it worked out.
And what are you going to do with the cheese?
There's absolutely no way in this world I would ever do this. I mean, look at it. It's fucking mental. The only way you can do it vaguely safely is if you're one of the pussies at the back, just sort of sliding down on your arse. What the fuck's the point of that? Throw yourself down there, lose some teeth, possibly some vertebra, and just, you know, go to the hospital afterwards, if you survive. If not, just leave you there, I guess, as a testament.
Probably going to eat it, but I'll decide later once everything's come down a bit. Just win things.
Cheers! Oh, the kid's absolutely fucked it. He's never going to live that down. Here we go, ladies' race. Fuck, oh, red shirt. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, she's bouncing. Oh, oh. Oh. She won though, fair play to her. Oh. face plant. The face plants are the one that gets you.
What's it like to win?
I'm honestly in awe. I'm so happy I won again. I don't know how close of a race it was, but I just tumbled down and I did my best.
Champion,
the Lord
everyone.
really helped
Repeat
and gave
champion.
me strength. You know, I'm just really thankful for the opportunity.
I've just rewatched it and you were bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. Are you telling me you've got no injuries?
No, I'm literally fine. I played a lot of sports growing up, so I'm used to getting battered down.
How is this a sport? It's a cry for help.
And the big question everybody's asked you, are you coming back next year?
We'll see. Yeah, maybe.
Well done, Abby.
So proud of you. I'm so proud. The cheese. The cheese.
Abby, so that was some of the mighty fun.
Mad cunts. Absolute mad cunts. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck off. Mad guns. It's so balmy. He's out of it. He doesn't know what fucking day of the week it is. Look at him. Absolutely off his face. Oh, look at the hang time. Oh, he's gamboling and shit. He's doing that on purpose. Oh, he's in his pants. Oh, absolute mad lad. Mad lad in his tighty whities. Oh, face grind. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh. From Wikipedia, Canadian competitor Delaney Irving won the ladies' race in 2023 despite finishing unconscious and only learning of her victory in the medical enclosure. More events need medical enclosures. That's how you know it's a real fucking event. Okay? Anything that does not have healthcare necessary, some reassembly of its competitors is a part of the after show experience. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I don't give a fuck. Okay? Come at me. Make this an Olympic event. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fuck yeah. Absolutely. Well, 2012 we had the opportunity. You know, when the Olympics happens, you get to have like a local kind of sporty thing happen. I don't know if they're having Boule play at the Paris Olympics this year or not, whatever. But you kind of, they try and get like a local event type thing involved. We should have had the cheese. We should have had the cheese roller. Because then people would have been training. That's the beautiful thing. You get people training to do these things. Once it becomes an Olympic event, there's a medal on offer. You would have had dickheads literally training to do this. Amazing. I'd love it. I'd love it. What I don't love is right-eyed grifters. Boom. Brianna Wu. That's not Brianna Wu, that's Konstantin Kistin. We'll get to it. Brianna Wu, people may remember I debated her a few months ago and embarrassed her so much that she's run away at every opportunity she can to talk to me ever again. I literally made her look very silly. Anyway, she's doing the Why I Left the Left. Why I Left the Left grift, but while still pretending to be on the left. It's a well-trodden path with a unique twist to it. And she's a fraud. She's a fraud. There's a kind of group, a level of grifter scum out there who've trodden this path before. Dave Rubin being a notable example, Jimmy Dore, etc. And other people who haven't worked at TYT. Honestly, the modern American conservatism has so much to thank the Young Turks for really raising the intellectual level of its people. Anyway. And what inspired me to talk about her a little bit more today is this little clip. Now, for those who don't remember, Brianna Wu was involved with Gamergate back in the day. She was one of the targets of Gamergate, and she received a lot of support from leftoids in the past, and she's now spit in their face. Yeah.
I used to think you were completely full of shit when you talked about cancel culture, and now they've run this playbook on me. The fact that the progressive fringe is now standing with the literal fucking terrorists.
With the literal fucking terrorists. How many kids did Israel kill the other day? Do you remember that? Do you remember that happened when they killed all of those innocent people? But we're the ones with the terrorists. Okay.
Like, what the hell are we thinking? Look at what we're doing with the trans children debate. What?
Wow, she's going full Blair White on this shit. Amazing.
Is the progressive left's answer to any parent that has a question on any of that? It is shut the fuck up. We've got to move back to science and back to reality. People perceive progressives as assholes. A decade ago during Gamergate, people thought the white male gamers were the assholes. I've got news for you. Today, it's trans Twitter, it's socialist Twitter, it's terrorist sympathizer Twitter. It's us.
Firstly, why would you say it's us? You're not part of us. But also, terrorist sympathizer Twitter. Perfect. Fucking perfect. It's so good. It's so the very crux of her grift. She's a fucking clown. What a piece of shit. Anyway, that full video from Triggernometry, that's literally the channel she's saying this on, Triggernometry, has not yet come out. That's just the highlights. I can't wait for it to come out. It's going to be fun. But what has come out is a delightful expose of sorts, I suppose, called Progressive Victory in the Dark. Now, I've talked about Progressive Victory a little bit in the past. It's the super PAC that she's involved with that's funneling money to various leftists, in theory leftists anyway, some of whom are very much not leftists, some of whom are, though, unfortunately, and well, it's not unfortunate that they're leftists, it's unfortunate that they're involved with this organisation. And many of them have changed their views since getting involved with Progressive Victory. Almost like their opinion, certainly on things like the Israel-Palestine issue. It's almost like their opinion has been somewhat bought by the money that's been given. Just a thought.
first real day that I was here, that was yesterday,
look, I'm not going to rag on Vosh too much, but what I will say is I was watching a Hassan bit the other day, Hassan Piker, one of the few people who used to work for TY2 who isn't a scumbag. Anyway, he didn't want to mention Vosh by name or his audience by name, so he referred to them as the horse porn fandom, and I'll be honest with you, I nearly snorted my tea. I was drinking a cup of tea, I nearly snorted it out of my nose.
I met some fine Progressive Victory people.
That this panel was organized by Progressive Victory and Brianna Wu.
Progressive Victory wants a coalition of streamers.
If you recognized any of these faces...
Riverboat Jack says this is full of shit because they quote Brianna Wu, who hasn't been involved in the things as the counterpoints of fucking shit. And God forbid, you know. Okay, well look, we'll see what goes on. We'll see.
So far, and at some point you've probably heard the name Progressive Victory. To some of you, Progressive Victory...
I still think either way, Progressive Victory is full of shit. Whatever it is, and however dark its money is. The fact that you've got fucking Destiny, let's do a genocide, let's the fucking cookies into rocket fuel Destiny, that guy. Like, so Zionist that even Zionists don't think he's any good. That guy. As one of your progressives, a guy who literally says he doesn't describe himself as progressive anymore. They're full of shit.
You might just be an awesome new online democratic community. Maybe you've even been to one of their events. Some of you may have heard the name, but you have no idea what it is. And to some of you, they might just be the punchline of a joke. Today we're going to take a closer look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of Progressive Victory, including how they may be intentionally keeping you in the dark. This is Progressive Victory, which I'll often refer to as PV in this video. PV is a PAC, a political action committee. We'll talk more about PACs in a second. PV was founded in 2022 by Samuel Drismala, a political professional with a background in social media, online marketing, and as a digital director for politicians like Barack Obama and Senator Cory Booker. Sam's goal was simple.
I'm working with an organization called Progressive Victory that I founded, which works to integrate streamers who do gaming media like Twitch and YouTube streaming.
The fuck? My OBS just went a bit mental.
To pull their audiences into getting engaged in politics and voting, donating, volunteering their time.
The idea was that online politics creation, specifically on Twitch, represented untapped potential in the way of mobilizing and energizing young voters. So after receiving a $500,000 investment from an unknown Democratic source, Sam founded Progressive Victory PAC on July 26, 2022. Again, PAC stands for Political Action Committee. Now, what that actually means can be kind of complicated. PACs can be founded by individuals, labor groups, even other politicians, but they're all used for the purpose of directing resources towards influencing the results of an election. Now, to keep things as simple as possible, here are the three main types of PACs. There are traditional PACs, which can donate directly to candidates. Then you have super PACs, which can't donate directly to candidates, but they can spend as much money as they want on anything else, like canvassing, campaign ads, things like that. And the third main type is hybrid PACs. Now, hybrid PACs can do both of the above two things, but they have to maintain two separate bank accounts. Campaign contributions have to come from one bank account, and all other independent expenditures and disbursements come from the other bank account. I'm sure some of you have already guessed, Progressive Victory is a hybrid PAC. It's important to note that all PACs are required to disclose all of their donations as well as their disbursements to the Federal Election Commission, which from here on out I'll refer to as the FEC. This doesn't quite tell the full story though, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. For now, we know the basics. Progressive Victory started in July of 2022, and they aim to mobilize Twitchable audiences towards voting in the midterm US elections.
Okay.
And they did. Early on, PV was successfully able to recruit several smaller streamers to their cause, notably Riverboat Jack, Frogan, Prime Kai. PV actually even had their own Twitch channel. They sometimes did gameplays, fundraising events. At some point later in the year, PV also brought on Vosh. Vosh plays an
Gonna get the horse porn demographic.
important role in PV for a few reasons. He's a pretty large streamer mainly, but most of the
Tacoma Stallion. I just noticed that as well.
their early influence was achieved through Vosh's community. Moderators, Discord members. For example, White Nervosa, who helped build a lot of PV's early infrastructure, came from Vosh. During this initial era of PV, content and streams were produced directly through and in partnership with the pack. With the bump from Vosh, PV and its streamers actually seemed to have a sizable impact on the 2022 midterms.
During that time, we got 5,100 volunteer shift signups and contacted 290,000 voters.
After the 2022 midterms, Progressive Victory went kind of quiet for a little bit. They stopped streaming on their own channel, and reportedly at the start of next year, downsized to essential staff only. So that's it for 2022. But Progressive Victory had already caught a glimpse of what they could do with the space. Let's fast forward to June of 2023. Twitch releases an update to their terms of service and community guidelines. The platform no longer allows paid promotion of politicians, political parties, or issues of public debate.
Really? I didn't know that. Shit. I'm gonna have to contact George Soros and say I can't take his money anymore. To force people to be gay on the internet. During Pride as well. It's outrageous.
This would prove to be an issue for PV, as they had likely been paying streamers to produce branded content for them. And now, this is where Brianna Wu comes in. Brianna Wu joins PV sometime during the summer of 2023, shortly after Twitch updates their TOS. Her exact title within the organization is a little bit unclear, but she seems to have been, more or less, a recruiter. It's around this time that PV dramatically expands its roster of online politics creators. But because streamers could no longer be paid to produce branded political content, these streamers took on the role of consultants with Progressive Victory. We'll talk more about these guys later on, but the important thing to know for now is that looking back on Brianna Wu's tenure with PV, it becomes actually kind of difficult to think of a prominent politics creator that wasn't involved with them in some capacity.
I wasn't, but I'm not prominent, I guess. But yeah.
Brianna Wu left PV sometime around November of 2023, after only about 4 months, but the effects of her involvement with them are still being dealt with to this day. For now, though, we know the history of PV. Presently, PV streamers are advertising canvassing events for key 2024 races, and their impact and influence is felt now more than ever. But before we cover...
So any group that has Destiny involved can't realistically call itself progressive. They just can't.
For their controversies, let's at least give PV some credit and examine their impact and accomplishments in their first 2 years.
What happened in Washington, D.C. Last week with Progressive Victory bringing streamers to a congressman and getting them to sit down and talk with them and things. The reason that I think that is brilliant is because it allows people who are online all the time anyway to start directing their audiences and working with the politicians themselves to direct their audiences into actual legislative action, voting action that I don't think we see usually in these places.
Progressive Victory actually deserves a fair amount of credit for essentially doing what it is that they set out to do. If you take a look at the PV website, you'll see their mission statement. Quote, PV works closely with online...
Hang on a minute, hang on. Maria, firstly, stop fucking shouting. We've been through this before. Stop it. Okay? Is that aimed at me? Are you suggesting that me saying that Destiny isn't a progressive is me being a Puritan? Because if you are suggesting that, then you're full of shit. I hope you're not saying that. I hope this is aimed at the person making the video, in which case I'll let it slide. But either way, stop fucking shouting!
online content creators on Twitch and YouTube to get their engaged, dedicated audiences into the PV community Discord. There, we're bringing new people into the political process by giving them the tactics, resources, and support to make their voices heard.
Has anyone been on the PV Discord? I haven't, for what it's worth. But does anyone know what that's like? What the kind of vibe, what the vibe situation is there? No, she's accusing me of attacking Emma Vigeland because I mentioned she was briefly part of PV. Okay. Well, I'll let you scream at each other in the chat then, I guess. But no shouting.
Heard. For the most part, PV seems fairly successful with this. Almost all of their volunteer contributors have come from online communities, and in my conversation with one of the founding members of PV, they reported strong early results. Quote, they usually gauge based on volunteer contacts with potential voters. By that metric, PV was very successful.
It went really, really well. And, you know, in part, I'd like to thank the Progressive Victory people, the fine canvassing and phone banking folk. They did good here. I attribute the 500,000 vote difference in the results here entirely to their efforts.
Now, Vosh is obviously joking here, but Progressive Victory has endorsed several winning candidates. Now, that of course doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it is worth mentioning.
Right, but are they good candidates? Are they actually progressive candidates? That's for me, that's far more important. Like, yeah, you could back anyone. You could back Joe Manchin or some shit. Not that I'm saying they did. I'm just giving that as an example. You can back Democrats who are full of shit, who are just like evil people.
Additionally, every paid employee of PV that I've talked to has had positive things to say about their experience working for the organization. One of the state directors for PV told me that they've met a few state reps and state senators, and that they're pretty optimistic about the outcomes, short and long term. PV seems to be growing too, and their calendar looks pretty full these days.
Okay.
Look, I mentioned this was the short part of the video. I just don't have much of anything to say about PV's function as a Democratic PAC. They seem to be accomplishing what they set out to accomplish, and I don't have a problem with progressive policy or any of their motives. There's something to be said for being resourceful in our modern political climate, and it's nice that everyone who works for PV seems to enjoy it.
Okay, that's like, don't get me wrong, ultimately when you make content you can put whatever you want into it, right? But I think if you're going to be fair, and this I'm not entirely sure is going to be a fair video, but if you're going to be fair, I think the idea of looking over if you're gonna overlook, that's the word I'm looking for. If you're gonna overlook the importance of organising, especially in a world where we know that the super PACs of the right have a lot of money and a hell of a lot of influence, the idea that we wouldn't use that same weapon against the right seems like a very silly thing. And so for him to just say, "Oh, this is the short bit," and then like breeze over it, like that's fine, that seems kind of dumb. That seems a bit dumb. You know? Emma Vigeland is not professionally associated with PV. She just went to that one DC meetup. Yeah, which, like, as a journalist, of course you'd go to that. She had an opportunity to interview a fucking congressperson. Like, yeah, of course you would. Like, I honestly, I'd go if I had the opportunity to fucking interview like someone like that. I wouldn't give a fuck. Yeah, I'd go, because that's potentially huge, right? You know, appropriate. Hello there, DJ Che. Everyone go and follow DJ Che. It was good beans. Hello there, Raiderinos. I'm Kevin Logan. I'm from the UK, but don't worry, I'm not like that.
None of that stuff is the problem. The problem is all this other shit.
Here's something that's really interesting that happens in like all sorts of drama. It actually happened recently with you guys, I'm sure some of you heard about the Progressive Victory drama where a bunch of people were like worried about like dark money and stuff like that.
Dark money influencing the space,
in ways that we can't see or measure or track could be a problem down the line. That is, I think, the best sort of criticism I got.
Now, that's not something we want to replicate, right? I'm not suggesting the solution for the left is to set up like dark money PACs and start funding it. But I think
During the prologue, I said there were some things that we were going to have to come back to. Here we go. The FEC is the government body that's responsible for enforcing campaign finance law in the U.S.
What was I doing? Hang on. Oh, sorry.
As we covered earlier, one FEC requirement is that PACs publicly disclose all of their expenditures and their disbursements. And additionally, super
Hello,
and
Shub
hybrid
Show.
PACs are
Hit
required
the
to
follow
publicly
button.
report their donors
No.
to the FEC. When looking over PV's reporting on the FEC website, it does appear that they're in compliance with these laws. And just to be clear, I don't think that PV is doing anything illegal. There's
Well done for covering yourself.
just one problem. Dark money is money that is spent to influence the outcomes of elections, and the source of the money is not publicly known. The term itself comes from an important 2010 Supreme Court decision, which is often referred to as Citizens United. The court essentially decided that the first...
Maria, stop sneaking in. Look, you're such a crafty motherfucker. This is why I love you. You've decided to sneak in some shouting in a longer cut, but that was mostly not shouting. Stop shouting, okay? Moratorium and capital letters, except when they're grammatically correct. So start of sentences, slash stanzas, proper nouns, names of countries and places, that sort of thing, okay? Stop it. Stop. You've done it again. Stop it. Stop fucking... No. No. No.
Amendment protects the rights of individuals or groups to independently spend as much money as they want on political campaigns. The Citizens United decision can be viewed as the birthplace of super PACs and dark money.
Exactly, we're anti-capitalism, okay? Are you a capitalist? Is that what you are now? Yeah?
It's also important to note that Citizens United remains controversial to this day, and even as recently as 2022, a Senate bill was introduced to combat it. That bill failed to pass with a vote of 49 to 49. So what does any of this have to do with Progressive Victory?
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Remember the $500,000 investment that Sam used to start PV?
Okay.
I convinced a foundation who will remain nameless in the progressive space to give me a budget of under $500,000 for the 2022 elections to try to mobilize some of these audiences.
Do they not want to be known for this? Is that
They don't like to be known as of yet. Maybe they'll publicize something in the future.
As of the time of this video being published, Sam's investors
Redeems 50 push-ups. Fuck off. Not a chance. Like, you think with a gut like mine I can do 50 push-ups? Behave yourself. Everyone go and follow Zachap, by the way, who is good beans.
still not publicly known. Additionally, one early member of PV shared with me that they negotiated their contract with Sam's partner, but they declined to disclose who the partner was. PV's very foundation is definitionally dark money, but it's not just the foundation. Let's go back to our consultants. These streamers reportedly are paid to attend weekly Progressive Victory meetings, where things like viewer interests, analytics, and engagement are discussed. The consultants can't share the exact nature of the meetings because of NDA.
I can't talk about what we talk about in the meetings.
But it can be gathered that these meetings are intended for streamers to...
Well, look, you say we could be watching that. Look, this is sort of almost like a Tanky Tuesday, in a sense. Except that it's on a Tuesday, so it can't be Tanky Tuesday. But it is similar in the sense that it's someone who pretends to be on the left who isn't on the left. So Tankies and Brianna Wu have that in common, right? We'll probably do a Tanky Tuesday soon, because there was a video released, God, awful video released, about the coup against Ceausescu in Romania, which I definitely want to take a look at some point. Why is that? Is very, very loud. Stop being loud. Is that any less loud? That is a very fucking loud... Oh, and then I'll move the mic over there and see if that makes any fucking difference. I doubt it will. Tanky Thursday, let's go. Well, yeah, tomorrow I'm on with Christy. And then, I don't know but yeah. Thursday, maybe? I don't know. Thursday we usually do question time, don't we? With what's a face? No Justice MTG. But there's nothing guaranteed about that. That may or may not happen. Who knows? Yeah, that's the one, Moranaka. Yeah. Oh, by the way, thank you for resubscribing, Moranaka, with Prime. I've just noticed that. Yeah.
Coordinate content with other members of PV. Many of these consultants also openly solicit donations for PV on their platforms, as well as...
But there's nothing wrong with that. That's... Oh, God. This is just silly.
advertise volunteering for PV to support their political efforts.
Okay.
So, just to recap, Progressive Victory has been paying streamers to attend weekly meetings, the nature of the meetings which is under NDA, and those streamers subsequently have been promoting PV's political efforts and soliciting donations from their audiences. Now, none of this by itself is actually a problem.
Yeah, so why have you mentioned it particularly? Like, the thing is, right, there's almost certainly something fucking weird and fishy going on with Progressive Victory. Honest to God, anything that has, like, Connor from Counterpoints, not to be confused with ContraPoints, that's a very different person.
Get some help.
Anyone that has that ex-cop fuck as their, like, one of the foundational members or whatever, one of their kind of leading forces, is trash. It's not progressive, it's a joke. The amount of fucking Zionists they've got streaming throughout them, like, it's just, they're awful. But so far, his criticism seems to be they're being paid to attend meetings and then they're soliciting money from their audience. What? Is that it? This is poo. What you've produced, my man, is poop. Yeah. I didn't know he was part... You know, he's very much a part of it, low-key. Yeah. Thank you, Plexicon, for resubscribing with Prime. 37 months. Much love. Also, seek help. Don't forget, if you're new here or whatever, you can hit the follow button. You can subscribe. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can gift subs to the community. You can do bits messages. 200 bitty bits gets you a text-to-speech. You can do super chats while the Streamlabs link below. $2 or more there gets you a text-to-speech. If you're on YouTube, hello there, YouTuberinos, you cannot give me money on YouTube at the moment because they're being fucking weird and mental. But if you come over to twitch.tv/KFLogan1875, you can give me money there. Or just hit the follow button there. It's free and makes my pee-pee happy.
I mean, it has been publicly admitted even by these streamers that they think PV is just circumventing Twitch's TOS by having these meetings.
So what you're saying there is what I'm saying is correct, that they're trying to circumvent the rules by doing these backroom meetings and paying people to attend the meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying circumvent. I think that's too strong, but sure, whatever.
So
I think that's too strong, but sure. Come on, Connor. Come on, man. Like, they're clearly blatantly trying to get around TOS. No, to be fair, Maria, the other person speaking is Connor, who is involved with... Oh, fuck me dead. Is involved with this. Oh, bollocks, where did we get to? Oh, God. I don't even know where we are. Yeah, who's involved with PV, so it's not like they're just taking his word for it or whatever.
What you're saying there is what I'm saying is correct, that they're trying to circumvent the rules by doing these backroom meetings and paying people to attend the meetings.
I mean, you're saying circumvent. I think that's too strong, but sure, whatever.
What TOS are they... apparently you can't have paid political advertising bits. So you can't be paid to promote a political candidate. That's not allowed. For whatever reason, I don't exactly know why. Presumably because the super PACs would just flood the what you call it? You just flood the streamers with loads of money to like say you should vote for Ted Cruz, and then they're getting paid loads of money, which would be a way of getting around like spending advertising power, whatever. You know what I mean? It would be fucking awful. Twitch would basically be turned into I watch a lot of American sport. By the way, go Celtics. I watch a lot of American sport, and during election time, especially if there's an election happening in the locale of the game you're watching, and they cut to the adverts, it's just political advert, political advert, political advert, erectile dysfunction advert, political advert, political advert, political advert. It's fucking oh my god, and they're so dramatic and shit as well. Did you know Dave Davidson? It is a massive pedophile who loves ISIS. You can't be trusting him with the safety of your children. He will probably nonce them up. He's no good for Iowa. Like, Jesus Christ. And then the next ad was like, Dave Davidson's awesome in every way. He's a wholesome family man. Dave Davidson has been working for the people of Iowa for 27 years. Like, oh, fucking kill me. Just fucking end me.
So, okay, right.
But Twitch's TOS is
so presumably that's why they've done that on Twitch, the TOS thing.
their problem. That's not my problem. My problem is two very, very big things.
I think a lot of us would agree that dark money...
Two very, very big things. Like my balls. Oh, elephantitis.
And money in politics is...
Oh, talking about crazy Zionists. Hello.
Nasty and plays a bad role. Nasty and plays a bad role.
Number one, these consultant streamers do not get paid by Progressive Victory PAC. They get paid by a third-party company. Now, originally, I suspected that PV employees were being paid by one of Sam's other projects, like Clever Edge, an online consulting firm specializing in digital content development. But after my conversation with a few PV associates, it seems that their compensation comes from Progressive Victory LLC. And the fact that the money is coming from a separate company means PV doesn't technically have to report this spending to the FEC. Remember that...
Yeah, we know the PAC money system is totally fucking broken and it's very easy to get around. Yes, we're aware of this.
Dark money is not a legal term, it's an ethical term. It refers to money that's being spent to influence elections that we don't know the source of. Money plays an important role in American politics. It's estimated that campaigns that spend the most money...
Is IRI a Zionist? IRI is one of the craziest Zionists. He doesn't talk about it that much. Look, if he's one of these liberals that would happily not talk about it as long as the ethno-state gets to just sort of do its thing. He's very much a 1990s lib, right? Yeah, but when the whole Israel-Palestine thing kicked off, he had an absolute fucking meltdown that people were like, maybe the Israeli government shouldn't be killing the Palestinians. Like, he had a weeks-long meltdown about it. It was fucking embarrassing. Oh, God. He didn't go full Rappaport or anything, but he was there, you know? Not literally there as in Israel, he's from America. But, yeah, he's crazy.
in any given race win the election around 84% of the time. This is why it's important for American citizens to be keenly aware of where the money that supports the politicians they vote for is coming from. And money that's affecting the results of elections that the public can't see, or dark money, should be thought of as unethical. And PV consultants being paid to urge their audiences to support PV is affecting the results of elections.
They recruited more than 350 people to show up from various communities.
So just how much money is PV spending that we don't know about? Let's start with our streamer / consultant / whatever the fuck. This is Counterpoints. Counterpoints is about to come up a lot for a few reasons. But for now, he's going to help us understand how much the consultants at PV make.
Now, I've heard that it's between $500 and $7,000 depending on the person.
They made an offer.
Oh, Tachyon Blue. That's the guy who's married to Brianna Wu. Okay, I didn't know that. The hell is a terrible video background noise? I don't know. It's the just music he's got going on. Yeah.
And I was like, why the fuck would you pay me that much? For that amount of money, I would work 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week.
We know that a streamer...
Exactly, look at that. Think of all the time he wasted, like, harassing black kids when he was a cop or whatever, right? And he could have just been a fucking shill on the internet instead. That's what... Yeah, Katie, that's what it said. That's... Hang on. Did I misunderstand that? It said Mr. Wu.
He's going to help us understand how much the consultants at PV make.
Now, I've heard that it's between 5...
Or is it... Oh, no. Oh, sorry. They were making a joke. Oh, hang on. No, you know, I fucked that up. Sorry. Yeah, no.
Somewhere between $500 and $7,000 a month. We also know that Counterpoint's consider...
That's not... You know what? That's proper money. Attacking Blue's a Gamergate journalist. Huh, lol. I thought her husband was someone named Frank. Tachyon Blue posts in your Discord. Do they? Oh, okay. I thought I recognised the name. Yeah, yeah. No, they were making a very silly joke, which wasn't very well labelled. Anyway, yeah. Apologies to both Tachyon Blue and the real person who is Brianna Wu's husband for confusing the two. Counterpoints looks like a non-compete guy, so I feel bad for non-compete, to be honest. Yeah. All these white people look the same to me, to be honest. And as non-compete's been mentioned,
Adults molest children and have to positive outcome. 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 Adults molest children and have to. You insulting my wife? Maybe the Nazis have the power. 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 You insulting my wife? Nazis have the power. Maybe the Nazis have the power. Maybe the Nazis have the power. Maybe the Nazis have the power. You insulting my wife? Bullshit. Okay, mod. For anyone that disagrees with me.
We're back at it.
Bullshit. Okay, mod. For anyone that disagrees with me.
They got my words up. My words up.
Okay, mod. Let's get my words up. My words up. Mod.
This is art.
Bullshit. Okay, mod. For anyone that disagrees with me.
We're back at it.
Bullshit. Okay, mod. For anyone that disagrees with me.
They got my words up. My words up.
Okay, mod.
Oh yeah, I now can say that I want to kill myself. Oh yeah, I now can say that I want to kill myself. Oh yeah, I now can say that I thought man. Oh yeah, I now can say that I thought Roblox. Oh yeah, I now can say that I want to kill myself. Oh yeah, I now can say that I want to kill myself. Oh yeah, I now can say that I thought man. Oh yeah, I now can say that I thought Roblox. I'm non-compete. Nazis had a point. I'm Luna Boy. Nazis had a point. I'm not complete.
Maybe the
Nazis had a point.
Maybe the Nazis have the maybe the
Nazis had a point. I'm not complete. Nazis had a point. I'm Nazis had a point.
Absolute fucking banger.
Considers the money to have been good for about 20 hours a week or half of a full-time job. The median salary in the US is around $45,000, so let's round down to about $40,000. Half of that is $20,000, which falls within our range of $500 to $7,000 a month at just under $2,000 a month. Even underestimating, there are probably around 15 streamers that are contracted with PV. And that's just the streamers. This doesn't even cover canvassing leaders, state directors.
Do you actually want a link to that song? Good lord. I don't know if that's ethical of me. Shut the fuck up. I just want the link, dickhead.
Administration, none of which are paid through the PAC directly. So we can't even begin to answer the question of how much money is being spent by PV, or where the money is coming from, making it definitionally dark money. I think I've made it clear.
Good night, Vogel. Enjoy sleep.
Why dark money is bad, but I don't even need to. PV has already told you.
Dark money packs.
Dark money.
Dark money.
Dark money groups.
Worried about like dark money and stuff like
And when asked about her other pack, Rebellion Pack, Brianna Wu acted incredulous at the suggestion that she was utilizing dark money.
So I know that someone calling in to say something like this is probably not familiar with the differences in different kinds of packs or hybrid pack. I'm going to finish what I'm saying. You actually cannot put quote unquote dark money through the type of pack that Rebellion Pack is. So this is just bullshit. Fuck off.
So that was the first problem. Here's number 2.
Yeah, but is that the only time you've received money that at some point was directed by Wu?
Yeah, that is pretty funny, actually, Phantom. Yeah.
So directed by Wu.
I don't. Yeah.
That's the only time she's paid me.
Okay.
Directed by Wu, like the PV stuff.
Yeah,
well, you said
like the
she doesn't work
Progressive
there
Victory
anymore,
shit, yeah.
and they're still paying me. So.
Wait, who's paying you?
Progressive Victory.
Oh.
So are you paid by Progressive Victory?
Yes.
And you have been since October of last year?
Yes.
If I'm
October is a very interesting month for that to have started. I'm not suggesting it had anything to do with events in the world. I'm not. It could just be a total fucking coincidence. It is an interesting month, though, isn't it? A lot of interesting things happened in that month.
really important wants to go out to the RNC and ask their candidates some questions and go around out there, yeah, we can just write him a check to go do that content.
In February of 2024, creators of PV came under fire when it became widely known that they had been receiving payments and attending weekly meetings to discuss content strategy with each other. This was mostly previously unknown amongst wider online politics audiences, despite having been going on since around—
Did he say wider audiences or whiter audiences? Because it could be either.
September of 2023. It's unknown exactly how many creators are compensated by Progressive Victory, or which ones, and for the most part, the creators don't even seem to know themselves.
They're a part of the meeting, and whether or not they're paid and whether or not and to what degree they're paid, I don't specifically know. My suspicion would be a healthy chunk of them are being paid something.
In my opinion, being a political content creator and not telling your audience that you are being paid by a political organization is blatantly deceptive and dishonest.
It depends. I would say it depends. I mean, I would always, if I were involved, and I'm not, and I have no interest in ever taking money, so if you're involved in that kind of shit, go away. But if I ever were involved with an organisation, I would come out and say it, right? Just for, like, clarity's sake, because it's not just that justice is done, it's that justice is seen to be done. That, I think, is important. But what I will say is that I don't think it's necessarily dishonest. If you're just continuing to make the same content you were going to make, and you have the same opinions on topics that you did, and that your involvement with that organisation isn't affecting that, I don't necessarily think you need to necessarily say that. Again, I would, just for, like, absolute openness, so everyone understands where we stand, right? But I don't think it's necessarily dishonest. Now, if it is impacting your thing, say for instance if you were a streamer who had been on the left, maybe had been pro-Palestine, and then all of a sudden you get involved with an organisation and then you take a trip with a scientist to Israel, something like that, I think it would be incumbent upon you to reveal that you're involved with that organisation and how that may have impacted political opinions and decision making. Maybe.
In the days following the news, PV creators took to various streams to defend themselves, but most notable among them was Wick and Counterpoints.
This is one of the branding. No. This is one of the indictments that I don't. This is one of the indictments that I don't accept at all.
You didn't know how
It feels like I understand that you used your what's it called, your transcript thing to try to suss this out. I understand that, right? What I
Can I get a link to this video? Yeah. Castrix. There we go.
I'm saying is that there's a lot of people that are having this kind of Mandela effect, right? Either they're lying.
I did the research.
The general sentiment from these
Mandela effect
creators in response to the backlash was that they were not legally or ethically required to disclose their partnership with PV, and that they weren't being paid for their content, but rather for their consulting. Because the streamers were labeled as consultants.
Yeah, to be fair, most of the streamers involved in this, I think, have been relatively open about this. They haven't tried to hide it. Yeah, they haven't really tried to hide it. I don't think they've necessarily advertised it very well or anything, but they've been open about oh, they're getting paid by this organisation, and that's fine. Again, I would say that that's probably something one ought to do. Yeah. I personally vote for the Legalised Cannabis Australia Party, the Animal Liberation Party, and the Socialist Alliance Australia Party. You're so woke, that chap. You're so woke. Oh. I can't believe you haven't voted for One Australia or whatever the fuck they're called, the crazy fascists. Anyway, I'm only joking. Also, apologies that you're Australian. That's very sad.
Simply to avoid breaking Twitch TOS, it generated some confusion amongst the streamers, and it didn't seem like anyone knew what their title or role within PV actually was.
I've been sponsored for a while.
Sponsored by Rebellion Pack. I don't know about by Progressive Victory.
I don't know if
sponsored might not be the right
term. A sponsor or a contracted streamer. I don't know the right.
I don't know about sponsored. I mean, bought and paid for. Literally just purchased. Literally just, I've now just bought, I'm owned by them now. Would be more accurate. I love taking the piss out of Wick. God, he's a silly sausage, isn't he?
Term
which were sponsors.
Yeah, none of my content, so sponsor is the wrong.
Oh yeah, quackers, you gotta love quackers. Yeah.
Word.
Okay.
I'm not sponsored. My content is not sponsored. A better word is consultant, and even that's not perfect.
The fact that these creators didn't think they needed to disclose to their audiences that they were contracted by Progressive Victory is probably because PV...
But you just showed them doing that. What? Hang on a minute.
Confused.
You can't make the criticism that they didn't reveal that when you just showed the clips of them repeatedly doing that. You literally... Oh my god, this guy. Right, you literally showed them... You showed several minutes ago a clip of Connor talking about how much he even earns from it. This is very silly. What the fuck? Quibbles about... Yes, it was, Elliot, yeah. I live in Perth, which is just a small ferry ride away from them. From them? What's them? Oh, Quackers. Okay, yeah.
Hello, Columbia.
What the fuck?
Hello, Columbia. My name's Aaron Johnson. Wait, where's your mustache? Yeah. Mustache. Hello, Columbia. My name's Aaron Johnson.
And I'm Grant Robertson.
And we're running for mayor. This is our first campaign video, and we're releasing it in celebration of our recent announcement as of this morning, Thursday, October 8th, for our candidacy for mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, one of the greatest cities in this great union.
What the I don't know what to say. I don't. They look like Civil War reenactors. They do. The guy on the left looks like some sort of fucking. If you order Jack Black off Wish.com. What the fuck is going on? Oh no.
Well, let's take a look.
I haven't really thought about it all that much, but
Wow, even though he wasn't a leftist then, he had the most leftist audio ever.
I really want to get involved with the young people in the city of Columbia. Hey, wish us luck. Are you guys gonna come watch? Are you gonna come watch? Yeah, we're coming. Okay, good.
He's wearing a top hat.
I'm just gonna record this whole thing. You got a lot of memory, right, Graham? Yeah.
There's a top hat and a bowler hat. You can't be dropping a top and a bowler on us. Please. There's only so much drip a man can stand.
Why?
Because I love it.
Aww. What are you guys here for today? All three of you.
Hello, Colombians. Hello. My name's Aaron Johnson.
What the fuck am I watching? Is this a fever dream? Did someone fucking slip me a Mickey? What is this?
And I'm Grant Robertson. And today, we would like to announce our intention to run for mayor of the city of Columbia.
I have long felt that politics in America have just gotten completely out of hand. You've got a handful of people who are elected into office again and again. You've got what I would call a new aristocracy in America.
I was born and raised here. I went to school here. And a lot of my...
Honestly, this guy's got bodies buried. 100%. If you go to this man's apartment, he has a suspicious number of left shoes. Like women's left feet. Shoe. Yeah.
My friends moved away. But I stayed and I went to college here at the University of South Carolina. And even after I graduated, I stayed here and kept jobs. And finally opened my own business. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was something about Columbia that really wanted me to stay here and do something for the community. There was a sense of community here that I just really appreciated. And
why they left the gap in?
I guess we...
No. I got. That's too fucking good. It left it in. Why isn't he mayor? Oh, my fucking head hurts. Oh, you can't be that funny, dude. You can't. It's not fair. It's gonna make me ill. Oh, fucking Christ.
I run 3 local businesses, small businesses in this town. I've been here since 2002 when I came here to attend USC. I feel like this is a fantastic city. I have no intention of leaving. I feel like this is my home. And I feel like we have a really bright future ahead of us if we make the right decisions now. We are at a crossroads right now, a turning point, I believe, in this city's history.
I feel like people like me, people like Grant, regular everyday citizens, small business owners, clerks, farmers, anybody should be able to step up, throw their hat in the ring and say, you know what, I want to roll up my sleeves and do what's best and do right by my fellow Americans. And that is really where this whole campaign is coming from. That's the heart of the
What the fuck? Honestly.
the platform for us, because you know, it's not so much we think about parties or, you know, experience. We think it's about judgment. We think it's about values. We think it's about listening to your fellow Americans, listening to your constituents, listening to your citizens, and doing what's right for them.
What really makes us different, I think.
Oh, he's back. He's back. He's going to kill me.
Is that we aren't part of the political machine.
We're also announcing the foundation of a new party here in Columbia, South Carolina, the Cocktail Party. Now, this may sound tongue-in-cheek and it might sound fairly jocular, but we have a philosophy behind it. It's because we feel like the political party system in America is ruining America. Republicans, Democrats, they're just words. You know, we all want what's best for our lives and our city. So the Cocktail Party is our first step in dismantling the party system. If we can get everybody to go to a cocktail party together, mix it up, then there won't be any more division. There won't be any more vitriol in the political arena.
What the fuck are you...
The Cocktail Party is based on what I believe our founding fathers believed in. The fact that citizens should work together and nominate their peers to enter the political arena and make the best decisions that they can for the good of the people.
I decided to run for mayor in 2010 because I love this city. As an average citizen, I feel like I can make the real changes that will affect everyday people.
We need everyday people, like people like you, and you, and you, and you. We need all of us to stand up and take back this city from the career politicians.
It's a loaded term, the term political machine, but we're using it because I think it's a powerful concept. What is a machine? A machine is a system of systems. It is a...
Oh, God. Oh, he was so cringe. He was so cringe.
Grouping of dynamics that continually operate on the same rotations over and over again. And that's what we have here, not just in Columbia, not just in South Carolina, but in America. We have a political machine. We're cranking out the same tripe every day.
It's not a matter of what I can do for Columbia, it's about the decisions that we make. All you need to be a politician is good judgment.
We are 5 minutes in, and we've not heard a single fucking policy. You're running for mayor. Okay, so what are you going to do about, like, garbage collection? Crime? What?
And a grounding in the facts, and a grounding in what's right for the city. And an ear to listen to the people, to actually hear what they have to say and what they want, and to actually look and see what's wrong in the community.
There's no such thing as a Republican idea. There's no such thing as a Democratic solution. An idea is an idea, and a solution is a solution, and we need to find the best ones. And the only way we're going to do that is through a system in which people are allowed to freely share their ideas. And what we're doing is locking down and shutting out ideas because they don't fit into a certain mold. And I think that that is a catastrophe, and I think that's going to only lead us into darkness and damnation.
Candidate Aaron and candidate Grant, they do want to be mass-produced, but not in the traditional sense. They don't want to be produced in masses. They want to be produced by the masses.
There are a few terms that really annoy me when it comes
What the fuck did...
to political discussion. And one of those terms is flip-flopper or flim-flammer or, you know...
Flim-flammer?
The idea that...
Is this a po? Did they do, like, is this a skit? Is this like a comedy video they did whilst at college? It has to be. There's no way this is real.
Somebody can't change their mind or their viewpoint. I think that that's ridiculous. I think that as human beings, we're meant to grow and to evolve and to learn and to change our ideas and our conceptions again and again. You know, you might go back and forth on an issue a few times as you learn more information, and that's a good thing, I think. I think I've certainly changed my mind several times on several key issues, and if you look back at my history, then...
And he went to Vietnam and became a communist. So, yeah, like, he's got an open mind.
That's fine. I mean, you'll definitely find plenty of situations in which I've changed my opinion. And that is okay. That's what I think being human is all about, and being an American is all about, is educating yourself, learning more about issues.
Being an American is not about education, my man. I don't know where you got that from. No.
And discussing them with your fellow Americans. And that's why here in the cocktail party, we encourage people from all walks of life and all viewpoints to come together, mix it up a little.
It was never the intention of our founding fathers to have any career politicians running this
Or to have black people have rights. Chill the fuck out with the founding fathers gob job, yeah?
nation or its city. Here. Our founding fathers were silversmiths, they were brewers, they were farmers. They were not politicians. And even if we are politicians, why does there have to be so much vitriol and hate? Grant and I disagree about several issues, but we're still best friends. And I'm glad to take his hand as we run for mayor of Columbia.
Grant Robertson is not just my true blue friend.
My wife is... Oh, Jesus Christ. I was trying to work out what the fuck... Right. I'm so politics-brained or whatever. I was trying to work out what the fuck a Marxist-Leninist, MYFIFEist is. And I was like, Marxist... What would Y be? I don't know what Y is. You know, I was trying to work out what the fuck that meant. Like, I thought it was an acronym or something, but it's my wifeist. Okay. Fucking hell. I think we're done. I think we're done with this. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I love it. Thank you so much, whoever linked that. You are a fucking lunatic. My wife.
The shit out of them by trying to come up with a rule within the organization for streamers to push progressive agendas without breaking Twitch's TOS. I blame both Progressive Victory and the creators for putting their viewers in this position. Disclosure is extremely important when you are pushing a product. If you're a video game streamer and you're playing a game that you're saying extremely positive things about, and your audience is unaware that you're being paid by the developer of that game, you are directly lying to your viewers, even if you actually do like the game. Now, some of you might be thinking, what if their content doesn't change because of the money? Let's examine that for a moment. Wick and Counterpoints both
yeah, that's the point I made. Okay. We'll see what the counter to that is.
tried to make this argument.
I get a check from them. That's true. But it hasn't changed my opinions. It hasn't changed any of my thoughts.
Exactly. Wick was always full of shit.
It hasn't changed any of my advocacy.
I do think that there is a difference between money and conflicts of interest versus what I believe is aligned interest.
Wick, for one, doesn't seem to be accounting for the profound influence that money has over him, considering the following exchange.
Well, I mean, you have a dollar amount, like, to do nearly anything with, like, your platform that you've built.
Hmm?
You have a dollar amount to do whatever. Like, that's kind of, like, how much would it cost? What about, like, would you do a Mein Kampf stream where you read Mein Kampf and you don't disagree with it? How much would that cost?
More than you can spend.
Okay, well...
What are you saying? Are you saying...
does that price I'm asking
Yes,
if that price
obviously.
exists.
As for Counterpoints, he's a conservative.
Rough. Wick, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yes. Did he literally said yes, didn't he? He'd read out Mein Kampf and not disagree with it. Yeah, it's Kilo the Giant, yeah. Good night, Miss Hire. Much love.
Yeah, why are you a part of it then?
Because how are progressives going to communicate 45%? No, not just money.
Money!
Okay, I love money, but...
For him, it's not really a question of whether or not his content would change because of money. It seems to already have changed.
What's your Mein Kampf sub goal? If someone donates $14.88, I'll read out Mein Kampf and masturbate live on stream.
Thank you. First, full disclosure, I am not paid by Progressive Victory PAC. I'm one of those weird right-wingers that don't sell out for a couple shekels, so...
Oh, okay. Shekels was an interesting addition to that. I was almost going to say good point there, Rob. Almost.
Almost. Once they were confronted with these things, most PV creators seemed to agree to disclose their contractorship more frequently. But they began to make a joke of the criticism, effectively spitting in their audience members' faces.
Gets mad at me if I don't tell everyone this every single fucking stream. I do get a check from Progressive Victory. I believe Dylan also gets a check for Progressive Victory.
Oh
Shocking,
my
I know.
god!
I'm paid by the
I gotta
biggie.
go.
Oh,
I gotta
man.
go. This is unethical.
By the way, notice how Wick just outed Dylan Burns as being paid by PV in this clip. I don't think Dylan ever mentioned being paid before this, and here he is 2 days later, conveniently.
No, well, I mean, I was joking. There isn't actually a thing, but like, someone said the sub goal, so someone would have to donate 1,488 subs, which is a ridiculous amount. So no, but there isn't actually a number. Unlike Wick, I can't be bought. I would not read out Mein Kampf uncritically. I might read it out, bits of it, to elucidate how like modern fascism is similar to what Nazis were like or whatever. But like, I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't actually like agree with it because it's rubbish, both poorly written and ethically disgusting. Isn't the sub goal to be topped? Hey, magical, love it.
Mentioning it on
Happy Pride, everyone.
His own stream.
I work for Progressive Victory, right? They pay me. I work with them. I wanna get progressives elected.
Hang on, he said work for initially, didn't I? Hang on.
Before this, and here he is 2 days later, conveniently mentioning it on his own stream.
I work for Progressive Victory.
I work for Progressive Victory.
Right? They pay me. I work with them.
I work with them. Okay.
I wanna get progressives elected.
Look, these few creators probably weren't even the only ones that didn't properly disclose their sponsorship, but we have no way of knowing. But for the ones that did come out and talk about it, their defenses were embarrassing.
Can I be brought off with Pringles?
From what I...
No, the good thing about money is that if you wanted to, you can buy Pringles. So you can't treat me with Pringles, but you can buy me with money because with money I can exchange that for goods and services, including but not limited to Pringles. And if you want to keep up my Pringles addiction, you can subscribe. You can give subs to the community. You can do you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can do bits messages. These are all things. Yo, watch this. Hey, hello Cosmopolitics. Everyone go and follow Cosmopolitics. Now, I'm not asking you nicely. I'm telling you, go and follow Cosmopolitics. It's fucking awesome. Is this classed as sponsorship? No, Pringles do not pay me. No.
You can see, PV tried to hide sponsorship of these creators from audiences for fear of breaking TOS. And the result was a bunch of streamers lying to their viewers, confused about what their role was, and not knowing what they can and can't say. When
I am in the pocket of Big Pringle. This is true.
people found out and confronted them, they floundered. And now they laugh at the criticism like it was all a joke. This chapter in PV's story was extremely ugly. Speaking of ugly...
So, part of what Progressive Victory wants to do, and they're pretty public with all this, so I'm not exposing them to this, part of what they want to do is they think that having a coalition of people, having a coalition of streamers working together can somehow insulate us from a criticism of a singular streamer. Meaning that if it was Progressive Victory plus Destiny, Destiny now becomes a liability for any campaign that we want to work with. And...
like that guy in Nebraska who disowned you. Wrecked.
While I kind of agreed with that initially, I don't know if I agree with that anymore. Because I don't know if one problematic streamer is necessarily worse than 5 problematic streamers. I don't want to expose my sneaky tactics, but I think this, I don't know. I think all of us failed the social media checks. I think every YouTuber streamer did. I think.
Some of PV...
Well, that brings up a wider point, which people are going to have to get used to, is that going forward, political engagement, so whether it be literally politicians or staff or activists, none of them are going to pass the test. Because everyone will have said something on social media in the past that was, I don't know, a bit racist or sexist or whatever. Even if it wasn't necessarily even considered that at the time, things change and and move on. So stuff that wasn't racist in, say, like the 90s is now seen as like fucking crazy bad, right? And that, I presume, will change and evolve and become new things. And so we're going to have to adjust our expectations of what we think the moral level of a politician ought to be. Because everyone's going to have said some dumb shit. You know. I hope that isn't used, by the way, and I'm sure that because the right are very cynical about this. The right will use this as a way of saying, look, we've all done bad stuff. Actually, a perfect example of this, right? I said I wasn't going to talk about the British elections, but I am. And you can't fucking stop me, dickheads. Where was the thingamajig? Hang on. There's a Reform Party guy, right? So obviously right wing as fuck. Has come under some scrutiny today for past comments they made. Where the fuck is it? Oh, for fuck's sake. Where is it? Hang on. Specifically about Adolf Hitler. Reform Hitler. That's a weird thing to type in. Anyway, here we go. Right. So, the Reform UK Party, Nigel Farage's group, one of their candidates said that Britain should have remained neutral about Adolf Hitler. Party spokesman said Ian Gribben's comments that Britain should have accepted Nazi offer, probably true. Reform UK has defended one of its candidates who said that Britain should have taken Hitler up on his offer of neutrality, saying the comments were probably true. The row prompted the Conservatives to directly criticise Ian Gribben, their party's candidate in Bexhill and Battle, who is reported to have written on a website comment section, Britain's warped mindset values weird notions of international morality rather than looking after its own people. Now, of course, the Reform Party said, have they got the actual quote? They said something along the lines of, well, all parties have issues with blah, 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 blah. You know, hang on, do they have the... we're all really pleased. Hang on, I can't really find the quote. But anyway, it was they were all saying like, look, all parties have got people in there that say bad shit. But the thing is, there's a specific problem, Nigel and Reform, with your candidates saying weird, nasty shit about supporting Hitler or being neutral about Hitler. That's a bit different than just saying something that's a bit racist. Or telling a slightly off-colour joke. That's like a political position that means you're a fucking weird Nazi. Or at the very least, a collaborator in waiting. A fifth columnist, if you will. That's different. And so to try and obfuscate, and the right wing will do this. I was talking about the we'll have to change our expectations of the morality level we expect from politicians. The right wing will use that to try and sneak in their weird shit. And move the Overton window even further to the, well, maybe Hitler had some good points line. I guarantee it. They're disgusting fuckers. They will do that. Fucking evil cunts.
These creators often exhibit some of the most undesirable human qualities I can think of. Qualities that demonstrate a total lack of principle. The three negative qualities that most come to mind for me are dishonesty, hypocrisy, and unaccountability. I'm not even sure unaccountability is a word, but I'm going to use it anyway. Let's start with dishonesty. Aside from the issue of not disclosing their partnerships with PV, the defenses for this were even more dishonest. For example, when Wick was confronted, he repeatedly claimed that he was transparent and upfront about being contracted by the PAC.
I did disclose.
This whole time you've also kind of been saying, well, I have been very upfront about it. I have done this.
I have been upfront. Again,
But it appears that the first time Wick mentioned his employment with PV was on a stream on September 27th, 2023.
Sure. Yes. I am sponsored, right? I am paid by Progressive Victory.
Not only does it seem like Wick was just responding to a chatter here rather than willfully disclosing on his own, but this also came conveniently one day after President Sunday insulted Wick on X for being paid by Brianna Wu, which was likely in reference to Wick's streams that
President Sunday really is he's a crafty little fucker. I quite like some of his work, but he's in the trenches of like all of the drama. Name me a drama that existed that he wasn't involved with. Like he is a messy bitch. Is all I'll say.
that were sponsored by Rebellion Pack. And the next time Wick seemingly brings this up is on the stream with Resiver and Beckett on February 1st, 2024, almost 5 months later. Now for hypocrisy. This is Food Chops, a small politics and commentary streamer. Food Chops is most well known for controversy because of her late 2023 admission that she consumes lolly, which is cartoon depictions of children in sexual situations. Many creators shun Food Chops and refuse to collaborate with her because of her proclivities, including counterpoints.
If you're consuming it and your justification is like, oh, well, no children are hurt, therefore, like, it's not a big deal or whatever, it's like, no, you're taking the worst parts of yourself, you're opening it up, and you're reinforcing that part of your brain.
But this feeling from counterpoints only lasted until Vosh, Progressive Victory VIP, found himself in the exact same controversy. And
oh, are we getting short stack goblin gate again? Are we getting next to the tax folder gate again?
February of 2024, after accidentally showing a folder on his computer that contained lolly images. Suddenly, Counterpoints' objection to Food Chops became not about the self-harm of reinforcing a negative part of your brain, but about outward normalization.
Hesitant about Food Chops versus Vosh is whether or not I feel like there's an attempt to normalize.
And notice Brianna Wu nodding her head in agreement with Counterpoints. She also refuses to be platformed with Food Chops, but Brianna Wu actually has no idea what her reason for this is.
My objection to Food Chops is not that she jacks off to lolly. My objection to Food Chops is she's a drama farmer.
Brianna must be confused because at the end of the
Unlike you, Brianna.
This very stream, she plugs her new show with Counterpoints, saying this.
Counterfire, like Connor and I are starting that this week. My whole theory with this is I love drama content, but I love smart drama content. So Connor and I are going to make a mission of debating the crazies.
Food Chops was...
By the way, that's why she had me on that show. She thought I was going to, like, defend the Houthis. Yeah, she's a fucking prick.
Supposed to be a guest on this exact same panel, but Brianna Wu asked Wick to not be platformed together with her, which he agreed to. And that's interesting, considering what Wick has said in the past.
But if the people who paid me, Progressive Victory, if they said, don't have this type of person on, I wouldn't work with them anymore. I'd just wash my hands.
But good for Food Chops for standing up for herself.
Is that I'm as much of a person as Vosh, I'm as much of a person as Destiny, and painting me as schizo, unhinged, a drama farmer is an easy way to discount my arguments.
These three people are clearly very confused, and it's obvious why. It looks bad for them politically to disavow Vosh. But if you decide to burn a bridge with somebody who enjoys lolly, it seems like it should be because you think they might be a danger to children.
It's like, as I understand it, she's in therapy for that. Good, I'm really glad. I hope you don't hurt a child.
And then if you decide to stay friends with somebody who you think might be a danger to children because of your political goals, you are a hypocrite and a disgustingly unprincipled person. And our last quality is unaccountability.
Yeah, there's definitely like there's definitely like an element of if you're big enough, they'll just accept that shit or something about it. Yeah.
Ability, which I think I just made up. This one is simple. None of these creators ever actually really fess up to anything. Wick still hasn't acknowledged that he never adequately disclosed his arrangement with PV.
And just again, since I have to disclose every 30 minutes or so, yes, I am paid by Progressive Victory.
Counterpoints hasn't admitted.
Hang on, what do you mean? Hang on, this is silly. He's saying, yeah, the Kharkiv kid finder. That's still fucking funny. You're saying he didn't reveal. You didn't reveal this, and then shows repeated clips of them revealing it. Like, what do you want them to do? Get it fucking tattooed on their forehead? Paid by Progressive Victory? For you to see that this is transparent enough? Like, they've admitted it. You've showed them several times admitting it. I think you should attack them for their fucking awful politics, frankly. Not this. This is very poorly put together.
That he's compromised by money.
I would consider myself an anti-Trump Republican. I'm working with Democrats, though, just because I literally think that Biden is better than Trump.
And Brianna Wu mutes you and talks over you if you ever try to get her to accept responsibility for one of her many lies.
No. Are you the actual Kilo the Giant, the person who made this video? Hello, if you are. Unless the stream you're doing is about PV, then why do you need to disclose? Well, that's the thing. I don't think you necessarily need to disclose. Certainly, there's no legal requirement, I don't think. But I think you probably ought to disclose. I think that would be a fair way of putting it. I personally would if I was ever involved, which again, I never will be, but if I ever was involved in a political dark money scheme or whatever, I would say, look, I'm paid by X, Y, and Z people to do whatever it is that they're paying me to do. Because I think that's fair. Like, the only thing you can expect from me, chat, is A, low quality streams, obviously, and B, honesty. I give you the thing that I actually believe. Whether you like that or not is up to you. But it is undoubtedly, unquestionably sincere. Oh, all of the clips were from after February. Oh, so they were employed from October to February without disclosing. Yeah, that's not okay then. Yeah. Again, there's no legal requirement, I don't think, but yeah. Kev is paid by PB. Pringle's voice. True. True. Honestly, once you pop, you just can't stop. It's probably because it's addictive, because the MSG, you know.
You did lie to me. You did lie to me. Okay, I've been muted again. I've been muted again. She can't hear it. She can't take it.
Politics is, at its core, about principles. And if the faces of your political organization routinely demonstrate their lack of principles, then they are also demonstrating political incompetence. PV's been rampant with ugliness. I haven't even gone over the petty interpersonal sniping between Destiny and Vosh.
Destiny and I are never going to get along. At least, I have no idea what would have to happen to make that possible.
That was the reason why I haven't said anything yet, or yesterday and the day before, is because I was waiting for them to go on stream and give their take first, because I know Vosh is waiting to blow me up and say, I'm the one that's unplugging the whole Progressive Victory thing. I'm the reason why the coalition is falling apart. I'm the combative one. I wanted him to give his take first to see if he would try to set me up for it.
Or the fact that their Ohio canvassing event was a creepy atmosphere for women.
Because I basically couldn't go anywhere or exist in any way without being hit on constantly.
Look, not all of PV's streamers have engaged in these behaviors.
What I will say, Kilo, is that you could have focused, at all on how terrible the politics of some of these people are and how they don't align with the concept of being a progressive, which you haven't really mentioned at all so far. Now, again, look, you make the video you want to make. I'm just saying I think that would be a better way of attacking them. Well, if attacking isn't even necessarily the right word, but you get the idea.
But when the faces of your operation are routinely demonstrating dishonesty, hypocrisy, lack of accountability, it calls into question the maturity of your organization.
Exactly, as if straight people exist during Pride Month of all. Disgusting.
And frankly, I don't think it can be fixed.
Something. I heard somebody ranting about Progressive Victory. They're so mad at Progressive Victory for some reason that they want all of us to be rounded up.
Let's recap. Progressive Victory, as a project of Sandra's Mala and unknown investors, infiltrated online politics communities in 2022.
I started trying to form connections with a lot of these creators. Took me a while. I wormed my way in.
They had genuine political goals, and they've achieved results. But they've corrupted online politics creation by bringing on Brianna Wu to recruit as many streamers
Well,
to their...
Brianna Wu is definitely a problem there, yeah. Because she's just a fucking rightoid grifter. That's all she is. She's doing the why I left the left thing, but whilst pretending to still be on the left. It's a unique twist to the well-trodden path of the why I left the left. I look forward to her very strange PragerU video in the not too distant future.
their cause as possible. They're even paying creators who barely cover politics, conservatives, notorious liars like Keffels.
Ooh.
They'll
Okay. Bit of Keffel shade.
bring on just about any commentary or politics creator at this point. And the worst part is, these creators don't feel obligated to tell you they're
I
being...
never did look into that recent Keffel's drama stuff. I couldn't be bothered. Was it any good? Was it as like crazy as some people were saying? Is she a scammerino? I don't know. I honestly couldn't give a fuck. But I mean, it's not good if she is. But like, I just don't have the fucking energy to look into every bit of drama, you know.
being paid by a political organization and attending weekly meetings. I mean, how does Stardust, who doesn't even work for PV, have better standards of disclosure than their own...
Hi guys, I'm going to be in Ohio canvassing this weekend, so I'm not sure I'll be streaming. Just disclosing, I don't work for Progressive Victory and I'm not sponsored by them, but they have very graciously covered my hotel this weekend. Okay.
Consultants. Brianna Wu mutually departed from PV last year, and reportedly it's because of her...
Demon Mama, people kept linking the Demon Mama video on it, but it's like 2 hours long, and again, I just can't be bothered with that shit. Can we squeeze that down to like the cliff notes? Do you know what I mean? The evidence is pretty damning. Okay, that's a shame. More or less pissed away all that money people donated to her, what turned out to be false pretenses. Oh god, that's a shame.
Narcissistic personality and her wanting to control everything. Her problematic tenure with PV is a microcosm of what's happened with them. They're funded by invisible money. Their streamers hid their sponsorships from their viewers. They embarrassed themselves when they defended themselves.
Yeah, Kilo, I debated Brianna. Yeah, she's not a very knowledgeable person about the Israel-Palestine conflict, even though she has some very, very strong opinions about it for some reason.
And now they make fun of the people who criticize them.
I gotta go. This is unethical.
They also repeatedly demonstrate dishonesty, hypocrisy, and take no accountability for themselves, much like children.
Okay, I've been muted again. I've been muted again. She can't hear it.
I don't know if PV can fix what it's done to online politics,
Progressive Victory, I sound like a cult leader whenever I say that.
but here's what they can try.
To be fair, right? Politics Online was fucking dog shit before Progressive Victory, and it'll be dog shit after them. When you say fix, like, even if they took it back to what it was before, it would still be dreadful. So I sort of don't care really. Like, it's dumb, but
Number 1, no more paid streamer consultants. All streamer work for PV should be on a volunteer basis. If any streamers want to continue to work for PV in other roles like administration, they cannot talk about PV on their stream at all. Number 2, reveal the source of all money coming into PV, including through the nonprofit. Endorse candidates who promise to vote for bills that combat the effects of Citizens United. Number 3, implement standards of behavior and respect for any creator or associate of PV. And number 4, grow up. Progressive Victory has demonstrated a remarkable lack of
no, you grew up, poopy head.
maturity since entering the space, and their lack of principles is detrimental to their political cause. But maybe these guys don't actually care about politics. Maybe Sam and Matt and Eric, they're all collecting big paychecks from PV's nonprofit, and the less we all know about it, the better. Maybe they already thought of all these criticisms and they don't give a shit. Maybe, for PV, it's better to intentionally keep you in the dark.
Get off my fucking platform. Go away.
Wow. Wick. attacking Mixed Vivian Wolf, you piece of shit.
Bible.
Fucking fascist piece of shit.
Wick, you fucking clown. God, he's a dickhead, isn't he? God damn. F-bombs was right. What? Who or what is F-bombs? I don't know. He got so triggered. True. But he's okay with Destiny joking about, like, you know, I'm actually in favour of Palestinian genocide. Dickhead. Anyway, so this happened as well, right? Everyone go, if you wanted to, Kilo the Giant was the person who made that video. If you enjoyed that, go and check them out on YouTube. Now, Brianna Wu. This was from like a month ago or some shit. I didn't know this had even happened. But I felt like this might be worth watching, even though the information will be a little bit old, I think, because it's, like, say about a month old or whatever. Yeah. She talked to Ben Burgess. So, about Israel-Palestine. And again, she's a profoundly ignorant person, and Ben Burgess is quite smart. So, this could be fun. Shall we have a look?
I do tend to think, right, that this is, you know, there's nothing that's complicated that you could say that's true that's related to it, but that what's going on right now in Gaza and the U.S. support for that and all of that, I do think it's really, really bad. And, you know, and I do tend to, you know, I'm sure you've seen, you know, that old clip of, you know, Michael Brooks, you know, from a few months before he died, when somebody sort of challenges him on this, and he gives this explanation of why he says, you know, he doesn't actually find the sort of basics of this morally complicated. And that is very much how I see it. And I know it's not at all how you see it, right? And
well, let me just tell you, why don't we just start with not assuming what the other person thinks, and I can kind of tell you what I think.
Sure.
So
Okay. I should say my impression was that's not how you see it.
Oh, F-bombs for you. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I know who that person is, yeah. Yeah, I do know who that person is, yeah. It's alright, okay. I don't fucking know. Yeah, everyone check out Mixed Vivian Wolf as well.
Oh, okay, sure.
You know, that's why I wanted to have you on, because, you know, because I've seen you say lots of things that make me think we're on pretty different pages about this, and since, you know, I didn't want to do like a, you know, snippy Twitter argument, you know.
Yeah, why do I support the Houthis? It's a very good question.
I've always, you know, like,
do you condemn the Houthis?
All of my interactions with you have always been good. I've, you know, I don't have any bad feelings about you, right? Like, we just disagree about some stuff. So I wanted to explore that, like, in a conversation.
Okay, Ben.
Like this.
Well,
So
let's get
so
into it.
tell
Let
me
me just tell you from 30,000 feet where I'm kind of coming from with this. So, you know, I think before this, I would probably have called myself more leaning towards Palestine before October 7th, right? I had never really thought about it. Like, I didn't have any animosity towards, you know, my Jewish friends I worked with on the left. I just, you know, just being in progressive spaces, I had heard so many things that just, you know, like free Palestine, it's apartheid, it's an ethno state, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, true things that people have said that are true. Yeah, cool.
And, you know, when this started, I really found myself starting to dig very deeply into this. And the thing I find about trying to really dig.
And are you still doing the Nakba denialism stuff? You still on board with that?
Into Israel-Palestine is, you know, you go into the Balfour Declaration or Sykes-Picot or the League of Nations mandate system or the Peel Commission or the, you know, the way they set the borders in 1948. You keep going down and down and down through it, and every single time you peel back a layer, it is amazingly complicated. I mean, just take.
Oh yeah, all of those examples of imperialists fucking with the Middle East. It's terribly complicated. Who can say who was in the right?
the most basic fact of 1948. Like, I understand the argument with the Nakba. I think it's a fine argument. I'm probably personally more on the side of that. But Israel has, like, the way they see it as, like, you know, the war of Israeli independence, right? So I just feel like at every step of this, we are falling into the dumbest possible conversation. And the reality is, like, both sides of...
If at every opportunity you are falling into the dumbest conversation, maybe you're the one making it a dumb conversation. Because not every conversation I have is a dumb conversation. Not every conversation Ben has is a dumb conversation. If you're the common denominator in the stupid conversation pool, look inward.
This have some really legitimate grievances. We don't even talk about the terrorist attacks that Israel has just endured nonstop since the Second Intifada. And even though I'm very, very, very strongly against the way they are prosecuting this war, because it reminds...
You won't actually say anything, you know, to try and stop that or anything, but you will say in passing, "Oh, I'm against that." But also, let's focus on the Palestinians. Let's focus on all of the bad things they've done.
Me so much of 9/11 and the mistakes we made in the aftermath. I at least understand where they're coming from with this. And I don't see any charitability or even a willingness to understand Israeli foreign policy on my own side. And that's very troubling.
Okay, so
you're not on the left. Stop pretending this is your side.
Said a few things there that I think really show where we're coming apart, and
sure.
And you know, so I do just want to highlight two of them real quick, right? So one of them is that you like when you say, okay, well, it's very complicated. Once you start digging into the 1947 partition plans, go back and the Peel Commission and the mandate system, and my view on this is that I don't think you really have to in order to kind of see what's like kind of fundamentally unjust about the situation, right? Like, in other words, that whatever is true about the Peel Commission and the British mandate and all of that, it would nevertheless be the case that it's not okay to rule over people who don't have citizenship rights in your country, that it's not okay to deny refugees the right to come back, etc., and that it's and it would still be the case, right? Those kind of words and that you mentioned, right? You said like apartheid, ethno-state, all that stuff. That, like, I think that, like, the sort of accuracy of those, I don't really think depends on anything necessarily being true in the 20s or 30s or 40s. I think that it's just a matter of describing, contemporary realities. So, for example, if you are a Palestinian on the West Bank, right? So, I mean, like, leaving aside Gaza for a second, which is actually much worse, but like, even if you're Palestinian on the West Bank, then if you spent, like, if you're, say, 50 years old now, you spent every day of your life living under the rule of a country where you can't vote the people who rule you out of office, where if you're accused of a...
Do you have any funny vids on Sean Bean? What the what? The fuck? What a weird question. No, I don't.
crime, you're tried in a military court rather than a civilian court where you needed the permission of the authorities to move around over like very short areas of time, etc. Whereas if you are a Israeli settler,
I can only take that as an endorsement of my not having videos about Sean Bean, and I appreciate that. Welcome to the Evolution.
On the West Bank, then none of those things are true for you, right? You have...
One does not simply have videos on Sean Bean. Yes.
You have all of the rights of any other Israeli citizen, and you're treated for every purpose as living in Israel. I do actually think apartheid is a pretty fair way to describe that situation, whatever is true of the complexities of the earlier history. And then just one really quick point, and then I'll just throw back to you, right? Which is just when you set this up, and you were describing, your kind of past pro-Palestinian views, you said, well, you didn't have any animus towards, Jewish people. that you knew, but like that, I don't even see those as being linked, right? Like I don't think that like having that, you know, I mean, just because somebody shares the same ethnicity as a
Oh, hello, you've just been shipped over from Helena. Hello everybody, from Helena's stream. Much love to you. How are we all? I hope you're well. I would certainly hope so. Everyone go and follow No Justice MTG immediately. Otherwise I will end you. No, I'm only joking. But yeah, if you're on YouTube, you can't give me any money on YouTube at the moment because I need to get my fucking whatchamacallit back up. I need to what's the word I'm looking for? Re-verify my account because YouTube seems to think that I might have changed who I am. Anyway, so I've sent them pictures of my passport, my fucking driver's license. So hopefully that works. Anyway, but if you wanted to, you can come over to twitch.tv/KFLogan1875 and give me a follow there and throw money at me as if I were a Premier League referee. Yeah. Hello, everyone.
You know, as a foreign state that is committing atrocities, that like I don't think acknowledging those says anything bad about people who share that ethnicity. In fact, look, lots of people have as you know.
Yeah, maybe it's Schrodinger's Kev. I'm both Kevin and not Kevin at the same time. It's only by opening the box you will find out.
Right, like many Jewish people agree with with everything I think about this, right? Like this, it's not like there's some sort of Jewish collective point of view about the entire thing, and I just, that doesn't really seem to me like a helpful way of thinking about it. What am I missing?
Okay, this is so overarching. It's hard because we've just we've gone through okay, you offered a perspective on pretty much the formation since 1948. Them not.
See, this is what Zionists will try and do, unfortunately. It's essentially the kind of historical equivalent of a Gish Gallop, where they'll just say, like, they'll mention, oh, Peel Report, Balfour Declaration, 1948, blah, blah, blah. Just list off a series of things that happened throughout Palestinian/Israeli history as if that means it's complicated. It's not. It's historically interesting, and there are lots of layers to the history, and that's fun to look at and talk about, and it's wonderful. But in terms of the morality, stop fucking bombing schools. It's actually not difficult. When you think about it, not murdering people is actually a very simple, philosophical take. Don't need to think about that too much, actually. If you had to choose between the Empire and the Sith, who would you go for? I don't know what that is. I mean, I know it's a Star Wars reference, but I don't really fundamentally understand. Isn't the Sith part of the Empire? Are those two things mutually exclusive? I don't know enough about the Star Wars lore, so I can't really give you an answer on that. Neither of them sound good, though, if I'm entirely honest.
I'm sure I totally agree with, but I think that would be a rabbit hole we would go down. And before we started talking about this, we kind of said like maybe we should talk on more modern context, like what has happened since say the Camp David.
Oh yeah, I went up to 1.25 because this is she talks quite slowly.
Accords in the Second Intifada.
They both
maybe
did,
like kind of just starting really simple. Why don't we just like start talking about what's happening right now? Right.
Yeah.
And I think the broadest.
No, it's evil and evil. Well, neither then. I choose neither. Because I am awesome. My virtue has been signaled.
Okay.
Please. Well, the broadest thing I would say with this.
Right. I mean, just to be really clear, I wasn't offering a perspective on everything since 1948. My perspective was just that you don't need to go back to the 40s and the 30s and the 20s in order to see the sort of that, like, for example, a word like apartheid fits the treatment of the Palestinians, or to see the sort of fundamental injustice.
Thank you, Tartines, me loves. Well, thank you for resubscribing. 26 months is very generous. I appreciate you.
Of all of that. In other words, like I'm not I'm not saying, oh, look at all this stuff about the history that shows this is true. I'm saying, no, just look at the present, right? Like, look
But I think you do, because look, I'm an engineer, and when I'm trying to debug code, a really fundamental part of debugging code is rechecking your base assumptions. And there's so many things baked into that, like, are the Palestinians, are the Israelis more responsible for what is directly happening, in Gaza right now? That's not a simple, like, even that, you're portraying it as if it's black and white. In the history of who has authority in Gaza and how they got that authority, this is a tremendously long discussion to be had, even if
Yeah, you want to obfuscate by adding in loads of unnecessary shit. It's a very obvious tactic. It's intellectually dishonest bullshit. Well done. Well done.
if you look at Arafat, and I mean, some of the ways that Palestinian leaders, I think, like, if there's any constant throughout the history, is that, Palestinians' own leaders have failed them. They've turned for their own personal power time and time and time again at the expense of their people. And I think this is the same thing that Hamas is doing right now. So that is why it's important to me. What I think would be most helpful is if, like you said, we disagree on the Biden administration and what they're doing. I would really love to understand your perspective on that, because I think Biden has two constituencies. We have a very large Jewish constituency, and I think you correctly noted, not all of them are 100% pro-Israel, but a substantial number of them are. And they have, this is a policy they deeply care about. I spoke at the ADL conference just last week. They feel...
Of course you fucking did. Of course you did.
Very strongly about this.
Yeah,
right?
people at the ADL conference certainly do, right? Because I mean, that's the most. Those are the most.
It's my experience here in Massachusetts, which is a pretty left-wing, like pro.
Sure, but if you're at an ADL conference, right? These are the most, like, this is the most, like, I mean, the essential purpose of the ADL is really much more than anything else, precisely in order to promote this point of view on Israel, right? This is not.
I don't really agree with that. I've worked with them for a decade on many initiatives.
The fact that you have worked with them for a decade tells me all I need to know about that organisation. Dog shit.
Most of which have nothing to do with Israel. So I really take issue with that.
Okay, well,
Center is excellent. It is leading on digital public policy.
It is certainly one of their central defining concerns. And the ADL has spent many years branding, like taking, like, very rapidly pro-Israel.
Oh, ADL is the Anti-Defamation League. Now, don't let that rather nice-sounding title fool you. The Anti-Defamation League are essentially a Zionist pressure organisation. That's all they do. They will allow pretty nasty, evil shit to go by the wayside, especially if you're just about you can say anything you like about Palestinians, that's not defamation. But if you speak out against Israel in any way whatsoever, they will fucking come for you. They're awful.
Positions, branding anybody, Jewish or otherwise, who disagrees as an anti-Semite or a supporter of terrorism. I mean, like, this is
much like yourself, Brianna. Yeah, I can see why you get on with them.
Really a big part of the mission, right? So it's not, to me, saying like, oh, I went to an ADL conference and everybody was on this page. It's like, yeah, that's like a little bit like I
worked with them for over a decade, and I want to tell you, I think that you're really selling short a organization and all the work they do for people of color and LGBT people and women. They have led the way on so many initiatives on digital extremism, on trying to direct law enforcement to understand.
Thank you, M. Zeno. Yeah, much love. And hello, Tegma TV. Everyone going follow Tegma TV immediately.
Hate crimes, that not just ones that happen to Jews, to understand hate crimes overall, to point policymakers towards better public policy, and to try to be aware of this extremism that I believe directly led to the rise of Donald Trump. So yeah, I want to be honest and say I don't really follow the policy wing of, like the Israel wing of the ADL, because I just don't work with those people. But I think the digital and online spaces is primarily academics doing research, and I think you're really selling them short. I want to come back to Biden, though, because, like, help me understand your objection.
Okay, so this is from a few months ago, so just after October the 7th. ADL has only doubled down on its initiatives defending Israel and the policies of the Israeli government amid criticism and staff resignations. The Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt sparked controversy in 2020 when he placed opposition to Israel on a par with white supremacy as a source of anti-Semitism. Yeah. Yeah. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, Greenblatt said in a speech to the ADL leaders. He singled out Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voice for Peace as groups that epitomise the radical left. So, Jewish Voices for Peace. Or, to put it in a way that they might not do so publicly, but they certainly do, they're the wrong kind of Jews. They're the bad Jews. Yeah. But we're not anti-Semites. No.
About Biden, because I think he's trying to juggle two different constituencies. I think he's in a no-win situation. I think that he is dealing with a lot of statements that are not really true from the activist world if you really dig into them. And I literally don't understand what more you could want from him in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, so okay, just real quick on the ADL, I think that there are two things that are true. That there is a side of what they do that is what you're describing, right? You know, that's about this domestic facing approach to because originally the sort of founding purpose of it was counteracting anti-Semitism. They broadened this to racism in general. There is all this, everything you're saying, right? That is definitely a side of it, but there is also a side of the ADL, which is an extremely important side of the ADL and what they've done over the decades, that is extremely aggressive, extremely militant, pro-Israel advocacy.
Yes,
and I think pretty much anybody who's going to be involved with the ADL is at least going to be okay with that, right? Because this is just a big part of what they do, right? Like, you're not going to get people who have like a wide range of views on Israel who are going
They're doing cancel culture against Jewish people, which is anti-Semitism.
To be working for the ADL.
I don't know if that's really true, but I think we can table that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So
not fair enough. Actually, no. You could just push back a little bit there, Ben.
Really don't want the question about how we see Israel and whether that they have whether words like apartheid are appropriate and apt, right? I really don't want to let go of that. But yes, on the Biden, I definitely would come back to that. But on the Biden administration in particular, what more do I want them to do? Well, I think that Israel is engaged in the kind of atrocities in Gaza that would be fairly described as ethnic cleansing. I think that it's not. It doesn't fit the man on the street definition of genocide where you're trying.
But it's allowed to be ethnic cleansing if it's a war situation. Didn't you know that? That's a thing that Brianna Wu literally fucking said when I debated her. That even though some of it happened when it wasn't a war, she said, well, it's a war situation, so that's fine that they did the Nakba, actually. Yeah, Tartines, I think you absolutely vindicated is the word, yes.
And if it's kill every single person, but I think the definition of genocide under international law, I absolutely think that it meets. And so while things like that are going on, right, while you have, for example, millions of people, certainly many hundreds of thousands who have been intentionally starved, while you have a bombing campaign that's displaced 1.9 million, at least of the 2.3 million residents from their homes, which is just like an apocalyptic level of a war crime. That what more do I want him to do? At the very least, not rush weapons to the country that is carrying out those atrocities. Not provide the weapons from which to carry out those war crimes, and certainly not to do things like veto ceasefire resolutions 3 times at the United Nations.
Okay, so I want to go through this one at a time. The first thing, when we talk about international,
there's an emote suggestion. Technical difficulties, please stand by. Yes, okay, we can have that. For when I laugh so hard that I go off stream and off screen and just, yeah. I think that's, what do we reckon, chat? Put that down as one of the emotes, yeah? Awesome. Who did that? Ripshaft, thank you very much. Yeah, that's fucking dope.
law. This is driving me, like, respectfully, Ben, this is driving me crazy with everybody on every side, because people talk about international law like it is a very easy thing to look up and apply, and it is not. It is.
Okay, but they are doing genocide, my man. Like, come on. Come on. It absolutely is. Come on.
It is so freaking complicated. The standards of what is international law, how the ICJ rules on different things, the standards that are being brought with this South African case, where the standard of them meeting that is just the possibility of these things happening. When you really dig into, hold on, let me just finish.
Okay,
when
sure.
you really dig into international law, people are making statements, just these blanket statements, like it meets this definition, and I have to tell you, I think it is almost always an overstatement. So yeah, that's just a trend that I have noticed. Coming back to Biden, people talk, this is another thing where the facts are just inconvenient for people. This is the way that we have structured support for Israel in this country, as best as I can understand it. And as we're saying, a lot of these emergency.
Apparently that image file isn't, that image format is not supported. What? It has to be a PNG image. I don't fucking know what the fuck any of that means. We'll sort it out another time. A noise happened. What was it? Did a noise happen? Oh yeah. So thank you, Tartines, my love, for gifting a sub to Der von Kurenberg.
Bills that they pass do not come to the light of day. They don't get reported on. And I can't tell you this in totality. But the general gist of what we have is Obama passed a memorandum of understanding about a decade ago, offering a ton of aid to Israel. This is where the overwhelming majority of it comes from. You know, this had a lot of provisions in it for us to share, like, cybersecurity expertise, for us to train troops together. And it contains a lot of provisions for American weapon manufacturers to sell things to Israel. This is not us giving Israel tons of munitions. This is them agreeing to buy them from American weapons manufacturers, which to me...
Right, but that, I mean, America gives a lot of money to Israel, with which they use to buy that. Anyway, but regardless, the American government has the legal right to stop that from happening. They can place an arms embargo on Israel to stop American companies, at least legally, selling weapons to Israel. So what you're doing there is just adding an extra step. You're not defending the American government, or indeed Israel, in any real way there. Bravo. Technically, Slinky Slugbutter, she's neither a respected commentator or a gobshite on the left. She's just a gobshite. She's not on the left.
Really reads as you know, this play that American weapons manufacturers have made to the right and the left to make sure they get rich no matter what. The second thing that happened is, as you go forward in time, all of our different presidents have, like, authorized emergency measures to sell weapons. You had Trump, he did a supplementary bill. It wasn't as big as Obama's. It was, like, I think about a tenth of that. You had Biden before October 7th that did the same. And then he has authorized, I do believe, 2 additional weapon sales at this point, in a bigger aid package for Israel stuck in Congress. So when we're talking about the Biden administration, as though Joe Biden is writing a check with American taxpayer money to go fund the hell out of Israel. I'm not saying you're doing this. I'm saying Twitter does it. It's just not true. It is a wild overstatement.
Okay, but I guess what I'm not getting out of all of that is...
Sure.
Okay, but, like, he's also giving them political cover by constantly voting with them at the UN, when they're, like, the only country that votes that way. The entire rest of the world is like, can we maybe have some mild criticism of Israel at all at the UN? And America's like, no, you can't even hint that they might be doing something wrong. Israel is fucking perfect, and if you disagree, you're with Hamas's.
Is why the fact that, yes, you have, clearly you're right that there are many previous presidents, you know, who've you know, supported Israel in all of its, you know, in all of its wars, all of its periodic, you know, mowings of the lawn in Gaza. and have funneled lots and lots of U.S. Support of various kinds to Israel. That's clearly true. But like, I guess I don't see what's exculpatory about that for what Biden is doing. I mean, like at best, that seems like an everybody else is doing it defense, which, you know, I think everybody else can be wrong. I also think that this is what's going on right now is qualitatively worse than anything that was going on 10 years ago. So I think continuing it under those circumstances is even worse. Not that I loved anything that Obama was doing with regard to Israel at the time. And I also think, especially just the distinction between giving and selling weapons doesn't really strike me as like getting to the core of what people, I think, rightly find so objectionable about this. You know, that if you have...
Yeah, the UK is also disgusting, Mancheater, when it comes to selling weapons to Israel, yeah. Absolutely, yes.
A state that's carrying out, like, you know, in real quantitative terms right now, right, the worst atrocities that are going on anywhere in the world. The single 25 miles of the planet right now where it's most dangerous to be a child is Gaza.
Yeah.
They have, while atrocities on that scale are happening, you know, I guess I didn't give them the weapons. I sold them the weapons. Isn't really.
That's not my point. That's not my point, Ben. You're missing my point. And I do hope we can.
No, your point is to obfuscate. Yes, I know. It's pretty shoddy.
Return and spend some time talking about what's actually happening in Gaza and spend a lot of time with that, because if you've got argument against Israel, it's what's happening in Rafah right now. And I do want to talk about that.
Well, and it's gotten a lot worse since this took place. She hasn't changed or modified her opinion or position at all in that time. But Rafah has gone a lot worse because the red line always moves. The Zionist just goes, don't do that really bad thing. Oh, you did the really bad thing. Never mind. Yeah, no, you can do that. But this new red line, it's a bit smaller even with cropping, I'm afraid. Kev is a boomer. I'm not a boomer. Shut up.
I think the subject at hand is like the blame for Biden. So if you want to get super, super granular about what Biden has authorized, because you got to understand, he didn't have any, like when Obama was president and that original MOU was signed, he was not president, right? So what has happened is the weapons. But
he was vice president. And he didn't say anything.
Sales that have gone through. Yes, it's a lot of the munitions. They've been used in these bombings. They've flattened Gaza.
Kev, you are vindicated in calling Brianna out. Yeah, I was vindicated before I called her out. I've known for a long time that she's full of shit. She's a fucking absolute monster. Yeah, it's just a small little incursion. Look. Who hasn't bombed a few schools? It's not that big a deal, surely. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone, and by stone I mean bomb, and by cast I mean drop it on a school. Obviously.
Awesome. Right. And, you know, I guess good news is Israel has no confidence that they will be able to buy those from America in the future. And they're actually building their own factories right now to build those giant bombs themselves.
Yeah, great news. That's awesome. Yeah, fuck you.
And they will source all the elements of that from Russia or China or whoever they need to do, but they're just going to go in and start building those bombs themselves. So if you're worried about long-term policy of the United States providing those bombs, they don't have any faith that we're going to sell them to them because of the political climate here in the United States. But if you want to get really granular, the emergency weapon provisions that Biden has authorized for Israel, the overwhelming majority, as best as I'm able to tell, is for the Iron Dome. Do you have an issue with the Iron Dome, with Hezbollah firing missile after missile after missile at Israeli civilians? Because I don't. I want Biden to sell those munitions for them.
Well, it's certainly not just the Iron Dome.
It's not, but the majority of those weapon sales were to replenish the Iron Dome. To be clear, look it up, fact check me. I invite you.
I'm not dispute. Sure. So they have the. But the point is that it's certainly not just that. It is certainly the case that those weapons authorizations, and by the way, just the sort of general year after year after year massive military assistance that was happening in the background. Right, like
yeah, exactly. Where's Gaza's Iron Dome? Oh yeah, they're not people. They don't deserve defense. Don't be silly.
Even before the original supplemental thing for the Iron Dome, never mind.
Oh no, Brianna's a massive Biden shill. Yeah. No, she loves Biden because he's also a Zionist cunt.
everything that's happened since October 7th, the 100 weapon sales that have happened in the last 5 months, that quite a bit of that is in fact literally providing the weapons that are used. Things like the 2,000-pound bombs that, like, there was an early New York Times report, well before, I mean, you talk about Rafa, and I agree that's appalling, but also but also that's not. But also, I think that that long before that, right? Like that's like if this wasn't happening, right? If that if it had ended a month before Rafa was an issue, I would still think that these were really serious, really massive atrocities that had happened. Like that figure that I gave you earlier about 1.9 out of 2.3 million Palestinians, being displaced from their homes in Gaza, right? That happened. That happened before that, right? So I think that if you have I think
these are very inconvenient facts for her, Ben. Stop making it difficult. Can't we all just agree that they're the most moral army in the world, actually? Come on now.
Under those circumstances,
you're starting to sound a little bit Hamas, Ben, if you don't mind me saying.
Right? I think it is really, really bad to provide, whether you're giving, selling, like regardless of how it's being provided, right? I think that being the provider of weapons to a state that's carrying out really serious atrocities does seem to be very bad, just as a general proposition. And I don't actually think you need to get that granular just to see that.
Okay, so I am going to agree with you, and I'm going to disagree with you, and kind of like. I think, how did you feel immediately after 9/11? Like, I didn't have any issue with us initially, like trying to, go into the mountains of Tora Bora to, get Osama bin Laden and to try to pressure the Taliban to do that, right? Initially, my objection to it came like 6 months later when it's like, oh my God, the Bush administration doesn't know what the hell it's doing. This is not going well. And then instantly, like I was opposed to Iraq, right? Like you would not, like you don't have I don't want to put words in your mouth. Like you agree that Israel had a right to, like a right
defend
to
herself?
like strike back after October 7th.
There you go. Every time Israel has a right to defend herself. Why is anything that they're doing right now? How the fuck is that self-defense? How the fuck is what they're doing self-defense? How is them bombing schools self-defense? How is them executing people and throwing them in a pit and burying them outside of a hospital that they illegally invaded self-defense? How is them stopping food crossing the border self-defense? It's not. It's fundamentally not.
Yes.
So on Afghanistan, no.
Well, no, I'm talking about Israel.
No,
Israel.
yeah, sure, but that was the first thing you said, right? So I just don't want to.
Really, you don't think we had a right to get Osama bin Laden? Really?
Well, I mean, they get the 20-year, the longest war.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you mentioned Tora Bora, but that's not where he was found. Of course, he was found in Pakistan. The American government illegally, and it was illegal. Okay, regardless of what one thinks. That is a stiff dick of poop. Thank you very much, Tartines, for gifting us up to Face Stabber. Much love to you both. Regardless of what you think of Osama bin Laden and him being dead, I think it's very funny. It's very funny that he's now being eaten by fish. Beautiful. But there's no doubt that what they did was illegal. Pakistan is a sovereign nation, at least in theory, kind of allied to America. And the American government, without any consultation with the Pakistani government, sent in armed service personnel and invaded Pakistan. Abducted at least 2 people, I believe it was. And then left, right? That's illegal. What they did there was actually illegal. That was an invasion of a foreign sovereign nation. You believe in the international rules-based order, don't you? Come on, you're a clown.
Or in American history, that
100%. I'm talking about the first few weeks. I'm 100% opposed to Afghanistan, to be clear. I literally got put on the terrorist watch list protesting that war.
Good. You deserve to be on the terrorist watch list. You're in league with Osama bin Laden. Why are you such an anti-Semite? Do you like the fact that he wants to kill Jewish people? You're a terrible person.
So much.
Okay,
just
that's
to be
good.
clear. Yes.
I can see why they do it. It does feel good.
I mean, yeah, I think that the idea that in order to to get Osama bin Laden, you had to cluster bomb, invade, and occupy an entire country. I think,
especially when they didn't even get him in that country. He was in Pakistan. You fucked over Afghanistan, and he wasn't there, or at least he left and wasn't there anymore.
Was always pretty implausible, and I think that the fact that when we eventually did in fact get Osama bin Laden, right?
Didn't Pakistan know and tell the US years ago? I don't know. But either way, look, there's no doubt that elements within the Pakistani government and military hierarchy knew where he was, because he was literally in a house next to a military base. Yeah, there were higher-ups in the Pakistani military who knew exactly where he was. And seemingly were at least okay with it. You know. Fucking mad shit. Also, it's still funny to me that he had porn. Like this fucking devout, family man, Muslim hardliner was jerking it. Fucking every time, man, every time.
That was not even in Afghanistan. It was.
Bush did not run that war well.
It didn't involve invading Pakistan where he was, right? They have I think all else being equal, sure, if you have that,
he had anime on his PC, well, that's much worse. Pornography, by comparison, pornography is fine, whatever. Anime is degenerate filth, okay? Anyone who supports anime or the anime industry is denigrating Western civilization and will lead to the downfall of all that is true and holy. Okay? Fact.
You have some sort of extremely targeted raid to get Osama bin Laden. I mean, I'm not crying any tears for Osama bin Laden.
Mm-hmm.
They have I would, we can get into what exactly I maybe think should have happened there, but they have just in very general terms. And similarly, I think if you'd had some sort of incredibly targeted raid to get, particular planners of 10-7 in Qatar, that's
10-7. Oh god, Americans, can you do anything? Can anything happen on your watch that doesn't involve it becoming numbers? It has to be numbered. 10-7, 9/11. It's infuriating. It's almost as bad as adding gate to everything. Gate is a suffix for every single fucking thing. Oh god, I fucking hate America. Honestly, I think I'm going to go and join the Taliban. That's a joke, by the way. Bin Laden, dude. What? No.
That this sort of do the equivalent of the post.
Yeah, and they get the day and the fucking year the wrong way around as well, or day and month. Yeah, true.
The post-Munich stuff, I'm not that bothered by that either. Although I will also say that I think that it's really misleading, and I guess this is where I do think that history becomes important. It is really misleading to portray to start the clock at 10-7, right? 10-7. Yeah. There's certainly atrocities that
Really, you think Hamas had a right to attack on 10-7?
I don't think I said that. I think that
I must have misunderstood.
The fuck, you dishonest hack bitch! What the fuck was that? Hang on a minute. Hang on.
It becomes important. It is really misleading to portray to start the clock at 10-7, right? 10-7. There's certainly atrocities that
Really, you think Hamas had a right to attack on 10-7?
I don't.
What the fuck? At no point did he say anything remotely like that. He even said there were atrocities committed. What the? How fucking dishonest of a person have you got to be to try that shit right there and then? Because he didn't say anything like that. Shut the fuck up, man. God, she's a fucking liar.
Don't think I said that. I think that
I must have misunderstood you. Yes.
I think it's wrong to start the clock there. I don't think that anything can justify killing hundreds of Israeli civilians, although similarly, I don't think that there's anything, that could justify killing tens of thousands of Palestinian civilians. Anything you say about the first one, you should be willing to say many times over about the second one. But also, I think that they have if you start the clock, I mean, just forget justification for a second, just talk about causation. If you're starting the clock on 10/7, I think that is incredibly misleading. That they have that the idea that given the sort of horror, the decades of horrors.
Yeah, like Zionists like to pretend that on the 6th of October there was like peace and harmony, and then the Hamases came along and ruined it all, and we just had to go and kill tens of thousands of Palestinians. Crazy, I know. Whereas actually, no, there wasn't. It wasn't nice. It was fucking awful for all Palestinians. Yeah.
That Israel had been perpetrating in Gaza before 10/7. If you look at I know you want to say something, but let me.
I know I'm not trying to be polite. Yes,
very quickly. Right? They have if you look at the stuff that that like if you see that like the particular atrocities that 10/7 was, and this is what Hamas said, right? Was in immediate retribution for that been happening that year, right? That sort of massive anti-Palestinian pogroms in the West Bank that had ended up driving out most Palestinian residents of an area that's about 10% of the West Bank, that had been happening last year before 10/7. If you look at, again, just everything that's happened in Gaza beforehand, I think starting the clock there and sort of saying everything was fine, the like initial act of violence is 10/7, that just seems completely wrong and misleading to me.
See, but this is where it gets hard, Ben, because then you're going to go.
Thank you, Tartines, my love, for gifting a sub to Daddy Uncle Darren, which is a weird combination of male relatives. But there we go.
Okay, you can say, well, it didn't start on this, and then I'm going to go, well, the Israeli neighborhoods have been hit by, rocket attacks for decades, and then you're going to go back, and then we're going to end up like the Camp David Accords and the Second Intifada.
So you're just doing the fucking... Look, yeah, you've Googled some things, and you know the titles of, like... Of some political things that happened in the past. You're like Destiny, but less good at it. And you're just going to throw out these things and be like, oh, see, gish gallop. If I throw lots of shit at the wall will be covered in shit, and then we're all covered in shit. And therefore, Israel is fine.
Israeli prime minister being assassinated. I mean, it's just, it goes...
Who was he assassinated by? Who assassinated him?
Back and forth. So I really, I first of all, I think it's a lot more complicated than, the Palestinians are just this like victim of Israeli aggression. I mean, like, why aren't they buddy with Egypt? Like, they've committed, like Hamas has done a ton of...
America has bought the acquiescence of the Egyptian government. So the Egyptians have sold the Palestinians down the river. There you go.
Like terrorism against Egypt. This is the entire reason Rafah Pass is shut down, right? Because you had Hamas that would not stop striking Egypt, and Egypt is like, whoa, we need security from these guys too. So I think it's completely not accurate to just act like Israelis are these oppressors. They're hammering on the Palestinians. It's not true, and I want you.
It is true, actually.
To answer my question, like, do you think Israel had a right to respond after October 7th?
Yeah, so I think I did answer that. I think that they have, but I'll rephrase my answer. I'm happy to do that. I also want to address the point about Egypt because I think it's really important. But they have as far as the post October 7th Israel goes, again, I think if you had a targeted response against people who had planned the attacks that was along the lines of, I gave the examples about, the Bin Laden raid or the post-Munich, Israeli assassinations. I don't know that that would have particularly bothered me, although I also think that the reason why, the fact that that 10/7 was just one event, and by the numbers, right, a very small event in a
small event.
Yes, by the numbers, a very small event. If we're going to grade on the curve of say, well, the current estimate for how many Israeli...
Wow, I know you only started watching in October, but yeah, in terms of the numbers of people killed, yeah, not a massive thing. Now, it's been used by the Israeli government to become the only thing that matters in the world. But yes, Brianna, statistically speaking, not that massive, actually.
civilians were killed on 10/7 is about 695. They have civilians I'm talking about. They have the 1,200 some. That's like the command.
1,200. Most of them were civilians, from my understanding. I'll take your point as granted, just so we don't get off.
695 is most of. Sure. You know what I'm saying. But anyway, they have yes, I think if you compare that to the mountains of tens of thousands of civilian corpses that have been racked up in the last 5 months, or certainly, what's happened in decades and decades before that, yes, I think that they have what this is it's horrible, it's inexcusable, but it is, relatively speaking, by the numbers, a relatively minor entry in a cycle of atrocities and counter atrocities. And so if you have if you're going to say, oh, well, didn't they have to respond to this? I think a reasonable question would be, well, okay, now that there has been the same thing now that there has been tens of thousands of civilians who are killed, hundreds of thousands of civilians who have been intentionally starved, millions of people who've been displaced from their homes, whatever it is that you think was acceptable as retribution, as a response after 10/7, question is, okay, well, what would be an adequate response to those crimes? And it seems like whatever it is, it's got to be on a much, much bigger scale. Now, I obviously wouldn't support that. I don't want to commit any atrocities, anybody to commit any atrocities against Israeli civilians, but I would like consistent standards.
But Hamas knows exactly what they're doing every time. Time. Look, let's go back to Egypt, right? Sure. Israel and Egypt have not.
So just going to ignore all of those points that you just made there. Just going to totally ignore that point. Okay, cool.
And friends, they may be moving towards normalization now, but around 1948, they were not really good friends, right? Israel was able to get peace with Egypt by overwhelming force and by frankly kicking their asses in a war. If you look at the history of this region, this is unfortunately the lesson that Israel has learned over and over and again. Someone in the region starts a war with them and they end up attacking with massively more force, and it ends up being this excuse for them to take a whole bunch more land. Sometimes they give it back, sometimes they don't. But this was, of course, everything that was going to happen. And what I find so frustrating about this analysis is
what do you think is going to happen as a result of it?
I think it's the cycle of violence. My core belief here is that the international community.
You don't have any core beliefs. You are an empty husk.
Should reward. I think Palestinians historically are stronger when they have leaders and they are working towards peace, because you look at the conditions there, you look at the fact that of course people should be able to govern themselves. And it seems to me historically when they've pushed for peace, they are in the strongest bargaining position. When there's this push towards violence, civilians end up getting slaughtered. This is not the first time this has happened. And if you look at what's happening in Rafah right now, where's the part of the left that's holding Hamas accountable for this? Because if you look at why the ceasefire broke down, it's 100% on Hamas.
Okay, so I wanted to, because you've said the Egypt thing a couple times, yes. I want to address that, and then I really want to talk about the last point that you just made, so sure. About Hamas. So, on Egypt, yes, if you're talking about the 1940s or 50s or 60s or 70s, then that's true, but of course this is why I think if you're grounded in what's happening in the 2020s, when it's been decades since since the sort of usual picture that you get in the Israeli. I'm trying to come up with a better word than apologist here, but I'm just going to go with that because I'm not being creative. That worldview, right? Sort of likes to portray it as in the sea of enemies, and this has been very, very far from the case for several decades. That the reality of the last several decades is much more Israeli security cooperation with various despots near it than it is in most cases of
which is everywhere in the Middle East, by the way. That's a lot of people in that region. Yes,
sure. I'm just saying, it is not really the case that it is in the sea of enemies, and it has not been for a very long time. And they have and certainly in the Egyptian case, if anything that's since 1978, right? The Egypt is one of the biggest, recipients. I mean, I know it was
number two.
Some of this was, of U.S. aid, precisely right in order, not just because of this, but this is definitely one of the reasons, right?
In order to buy their at the very least submission to American foreign policy goals, which is Israel gets to do whatever it likes.
Precisely in order to make sure that they are going to do things like, cooperate with what Israel does in Gaza. That this is part of the, this is this is why ever since that 1978 peace treaty, they have gotten this massive amount of U.S. aid. This is why the U.S. pretty openly supported in the Obama years a
we had a bit of a
military coup against the elected government in Egypt, because thought that the Egyptian military would be a sort of more reliable partner.
Kev is not a boomer. Shut up.
For various kinds of regional security reasons, which definitely include what its attitude towards Israel is. So I think like sort of treating Egypt's role in the blockade of Gaza before 10/7 or any of that as if it's some sort of independent evidence of something, or it's like, oh, see, it's not just Israel, or there's the that like, oh, why don't other Arab countries like them or whatever. No, this is a close U.S. ally that gets all this aid that it would not get if it didn't act like this. And then I just wanted to like really quickly, because the last thing you said was about Hamas, and they have a on Hamas. I would just like to say, I mean, we say, oh, where's the part of the left that's holding Hamas accountable? It's like, well, look. This is to me like saying, where's the part of the left that is holding Osama bin Laden accountable? I mean, there's the like I don't know what our mechanisms of accountability are supposed to be for Hamas. I mean, I can't.
We're supposed to do a cancel culture, okay? We're supposed to do a Twitter thread about Hamas being problematic.
We are actively cheerleading for the people trying to destroy Hamas. There are large parts of the left. They're trying to basically pressure us to stop that war against them. I mean, I know it's
but that's like saying,
yeah.
I mean, which I'd certainly. I have no brief whatsoever for Hamas. Hamas is terrible, but but to me, this is like saying, oh, in 2003, as I was going to anti-war protests about the Iraq war, what am I doing to hold Saddam Hussein accountable? Nothing, right? Because there's nothing that an American could do to hold Saddam Hussein accountable, just like there's nothing an American can do now to hold Hamas accountable. Now, if the United States if the United States was funneling hundreds of billions of dollars and
I will just say I think that's a slight cop out from Ben Burgess. You don't have to be able to hold anyone to account to hold a position. Now, of course, what he says is literally true. Random American say I don't like Hamas doesn't change anything, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't hold an opinion. Okay. It's a bit like when the British Zionist twats say like, well, we don't sell Israel that many weapons, so what? Even if us removing those weapons doesn't really have any noticeable impact for Israel, it's about taking a fucking stand on a moral issue, But anyway, by the by.
Aid/sales of weapons
funneling?
to Hamas.
Funneling?
Funneling.
What does funneling mean in this context?
Providing.
It makes it sound like it's illegal. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
It should be.
I cheerfully withdraw the word funneling. Nothing rests on it. I promise you. Right? Like they have a providing. If the United States was providing hundreds of billions of dollars of military aid to Hamas every year, if the United States had provided,
we kind of are actually. We are kind of doing that.
Weapons that Hamas used to carry out 10/7. If Biden was going over to meet with Hamas leaders and give press conferences with Hamas leaders, and both parties competed to show how much loyalty they had to Hamas, I would absolutely go to some anti-Hamas protests because I don't think that we should do that. And similarly, I don't think we should do that with the state that is carrying out far greater scale atrocities than anything that Hamas could hope to do.
Okay, so two things. There's coming back to Egypt, and then I want to talk about because
by the way, Ben is doing really well here. This is solid stuff.
Do fund Hamas in many ways. So first of all, I don't agree with your characterization at all that Israel's the number one recipient of foreign aid, and it's true that Egypt is number two. That is just true. That is a really sketchy claim that the primary reason we do that is so we can.
I don't think I said primary. I think I said one of the reasons. That's true.
Maybe it's something like when I think about what the national security benefits are to us, like making sure stability with Egypt, like first we spend a lot of resources on general like geostability throughout this region. We need partners. I think.
Yeah, that's why they do. It's geostability. It's not literally purchasing the acquiescence of foreign governments. No. Geostability. Because America, look, she's the opposite of the tanky here. Right? The tanky says America bad. To Brianna, America good.
You can look at Operation, what is it called? Infinite Resolve that's going on right now against the Houthis. We need intelligence. There's a ton of. Please, yes.
Sure. So, and I want to let you say your whole thing. So I'm just going to say like,
go ahead.
20 seconds this, and then shut up for a couple minutes. But I have but I think it is undeniable right? Like, and this is just like put as neutrally as possible. It is undeniable that if you look at, U.S., like interest, whether or not you think it's really in our interest or whatever, right? What the U.S. supports, what it cares about, right, in the Middle East, right? Then what?
To be fair, I don't think she was raised in this cult from an early age or anything like that. She literally didn't know about any of this like 6 months ago, basically. She had no idea. What's this? Joe Biden... What the fuck? Joe Biden calls Abdel Fattah al-Sisi the president of Mexico shortly after angrily dismissing questions from the... Oh, that was from months ago, yeah. True.
Goes on with Israel is not very low on that list, right? It's pretty high on that list. If you look at like the number, if you look at the amount of aid, as you just said, that the U.S. gives to Israel, if you look at the sheer number of times when the U.S. has exercised its Security Council veto, it's on behalf of Israel, etc., right? Like this is clearly a pretty high U.S. priority in the Middle East. I think that's just like a nice, neutral, true statement that I have a really hard time imagining anybody disputing that. And if you accept that, then it's like, yes, of course. If you're looking at why the United States funds Egypt, gives all this aid to Egypt, well, if we want Egypt to do things that comport to American, foreign policy priorities in the Middle East, that list is going to include Israel, and it's going to be pretty high up the list.
I don't know. Maybe,
I don't know. Yeah, that's the perfect answer, isn't it? I don't know. And I think that's a really good point at which to just step back for the evening, I think. Brianna Wu doesn't know. And that's really all that needs to be said about it. She doesn't. Everybody, it's been emotional. It's been emotional. And I've appreciated all of your love. All of your love. Thank you to DJ Che for raiding in on the Twitch machines. Thank you to No Justice MTG for raiding in on the YouTubes. Yeah, go and check out those people on the various platforms. Who is going? I will go. I'll send you over to Jay Marianne. Jay Marianne's good. And I'll be back probably later today. I think I'll probably talk with Christy. I'll probably talk a little bit more about British politics. There's some interesting goings on there. The what you call it? The manifestos are starting to come out now. The Lib Dems have released theirs. The Tories have released theirs. So yeah, it should be a fun time, as well as probably some other fun dumb shit. I imagine that's generally what we get up to with Christy, isn't it? On a Wednesday. It is Wednesday tomorrow, right? Or today? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. Thank you so much for all of your support. Genuinely, it touches me that anyone gives a fuck. So stay beautiful, yeah? No pass around.